Hello there, and welcome to The Night Owl, a show that we do twice a week where we talk about all the latest in pop culture news, TV and movie reviews, gaming news, and just the general conversations of the day. For those who don't know me, I'm Price of Reason, and with me, as always, is my co host, Professor R2. In addition, I feel like I hear an echo now. That's the
Sounds fine
weirdest
to
thing.
me.
Okay, I think the echo is gone. In addition to Professor R2, the co host, which you all probably know as well, we have Sean here as a guest. Sean actually has kind of like a carte blanche whenever he can show up, and we're always happy to see him here. And he was able to make it today, so we're happy to see him too. And we're here to hang out with you and just talk about stuff. Here, Rockstar says, Sean, good to see you again.
Yeah. I try to get here, but it does not always work out.
It's kind of like, you know how sometimes, I'll tell you what you're like, Sean. After Luke Perry left 90210, later when he came back, they would put a special title that says special guest star Luke Perry.
Oh, yeah.
No matter what, even if he was there like 5 episodes in a row, he'd get that title. You know what I'm saying?
Or like when David Duchovny left the X-Files, and once in a while he'd show up very briefly.
Right. You're okay. That's even better. You know what? That's better than the Dylan in Beverly Hills 90210. You are David Duchovny after he left X-Files. And you know what? That show wasn't working for me after he started not showing up. I just there's nothing you can do. Those earlier seasons with him and Scully are what made the show for me. And once they started flip-flopping around, it just didn't feel the same for me. Nice to see you, Tim Hayes.
Honestly, like, I felt like the series should have ended after the first movie, and I really don't really care for the lore episodes. I mostly like the Monster of the Week stuff.
Yeah, the ongoing story after a while that they kept trying to tell kind of petered out. It wasn't all that interesting.
And I was really disappointed when, spoiler, they're like, "Oh, we figured out what happened to your sister. She turned into Stardust," and I was like, "What?"
That thing with the smoking cigarettes man or whatever it was.
Smoking man, yes.
Cigarette smoking man. I feel like they really extended that beyond anything reasonable. And then from time to time, they try to bring back the show, bring back to a movie. And from time to time, they'd again roll out that smoking cigarettes man. I don't know, something in later years, I once saw some revival and I just felt so tired. I'm like, you know what? This thing has run its course. And
yeah, they had the black oil stuff that they went with a lot.
Well, get ready for the reboot because I'm sure it's coming.
Oh, it's coming.
Ryan Coogler is doing a reboot.
Yep, Ryan Coogler.
Are you serious?
Yeah, Ryan Coogler, the guy that did Black Panther.
The guy that did Ironheart. Ooh.
Oh.
Well, he's a producer, but you know.
I feel like in Ironheart, because he directed Wakanda Forever, I think that, you know, he probably, this is one of those cases where I can give you actually real experience of mine from the industry in deals that, you know, I've had access to or things like that. So basically, when Ryan Coogler directed Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, his agents, any normal agent worth their salt, would have put in a clause into his contract that any derivative productions, any spin-offs, any kind of something that was created there that spun off into a different property, he would get an executive producer credit on.
Yes, I'm sure that's
automatic. And once he gets the executive producer credit, there's also a few points, like, you know, percentage points of profit or something that he from the budget. In the case of Ironheart, they're not releasing it to movie theaters, so he's not going to get a backhand like of the box office, and they're not likely to share like streaming stuff. But what they would do is, if let's say Ironheart has a budget of, let's say, like $10 million an episode, it's not unlikely to think that maybe like a few points from each episode goes to him. So it's possible that every time they made like an Ironheart movie, he made like at minimum a few $100,000, even if he did nothing. Even if he just showed up that one time and said, I'm so excited about this show. I'm so excited that I worked with Kevin Feige on it. It's possible that he never showed up, never did anything, doesn't give a shit. Sorry, Sean. And then at the end of the day, they just gave him, minimum a few $100,000 per episode just for smiling and doing that, being attached to it, like it or not. But honestly, deep down inside, I'm sure he's not looking at it and thinking, wow, this is so great for my resume.
Yeah, I'd probably not too excited about that one.
He's probably excited enough that his agent said, "Don't worry about it, Ryan. Look at this check that you received. They made like 8 episodes of this crap, or 6 episodes. Each episode you got like let's say 300,000, and then multiply that by 6, you got like 1.8 million." I said, "Ryan, you got 1.8 million dollars. All you have to do is sit in this chair and say how excited you are."
Can I do that job?
I would absolutely do it.
I've said on numerous occasions, if anybody is looking for a CEO to come in and just to be the hatchet man and then be the one that everyone blames for destroying in the company, and I get to walk away with a 9-figure golden parachute, I'm happy to be that person. I'll come in, people can hate me, I can fire people left and right and be the bad guy, and I'll happily walk away with my golden parachute.
I would do that with such vigorous sarcasm. You have no
Zeal.
It would be fun. I want to be the Disney guy. I want to be the guy that like they push Bob Iger aside. They bring me and tell me to fire anybody I want. And like I get to go to Kathleen Kennedy's office. I get to stop by Marvel. That's really like fun stuff.
There you go.
The dead man says, the real Sean Crumble, you beat me to the X-Files joke by a few seconds. Sorry, Sean, because you used a bad word at the beginning. And then bigot on socialist media. Good day from West Australia.
Good day.
Good day, mate, from West Australia.
Good day, bigot on socialist media.
Yeah. I always think, for some reason, when I try to do an Australian accent, I think of the South Park episode with Russell Crowe.
I'll be right back.
No problem.
You gonna fight me?
Is it because Sean is such a mysterious guy? Fight! Making music, making songs. Oh, sorry. Making movies, making songs, and fighting around the world. Oi, Tugger! I don't know why that thing is like stuck in my mind. It has never left me. It is such an epic, like funny roast of him, and I wonder to myself how annoyed he was when he saw that.
It's really funny.
Maybe he had a laugh. I don't know. Who knows?
Oh man, jeez. So yeah, we got a bunch of different topics to talk about. Before we get into those, I was going to bring up. Did you know today is the 22nd anniversary of the finale of Cheers?
Right, and it's also the day that George went.
Yes, the day we lost George went. Norm. That's what we should say when Sean comes in the door. Norm,
Sean. We actually have a little bit of a Sean going on.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it was definitely a tragic loss because everybody likes Norm.
Yes.
Cheers was like a classic show. I know that a lot of people, they're like, oh, I liked Frasier. It's like, listen, I'm going to be honest with you. For me, Cheers is the real deal. When they made that show with Frasier, I'm like, I thought he was okay on Cheers. I wasn't so excited. Kelsey Grammer is a good actor, but I wasn't so excited to see like the Frasier adventures. Now, from time to time, I catch that show. It wasn't terrible, but at the end of the day, Cheers is the real deal for me. And Norm and Cliffy, that's kind of that's just such great characters, just such iconic great characters. I love that the cast of Cheers had this kind of chemistry after so many years working together. They really bounced off each other in a really great way.
I have a hard time. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Sean.
I have a hard time watching Frasier just because it's so painfully awkward. And he never learns, which I guess is like the standard for most sitcoms. Everything just resets every week. But that show especially, I can't watch it.
Yeah, sorry, I know what you mean.
Well said.
Anytime. So yeah, Cheers, amazing, just fantastic show. There's a reason it lives in that pantheon of the great sitcoms of all time. I mean, it's so well done. The chemistry between the characters was amazing. You know, there and there was a whole just collection of those different characters that all worked together and had different relationships in different ways. It's just a fantastic show, and it was so well written. I do enjoy Frasier. It's not my favorite. If you were going to say let's watch Frasier or let's watch Cheers, I'm probably going to pick Cheers 9 out of 10 times. But I enjoyed Frasier for what it was. I will say before we move on, for me, whenever I think about George Wendt, for whatever reason, so um, there was an episode of Animaniacs. Do you remember this? There
I
was
don't.
there was
No.
an episode of Animaniacs where they have where you go to the mall and there's people there taking customer surveys,
Mhm.
asking you questions about this product or that service or whatever, filling out these little questionnaires.
Aren't they
And
like, would you like to take a survey? Would you like to
yes,
take
would
a
you like to take a
survey?
survey? And then so they at one point they they come up to them. They're asking, "Do you eat beans?
Oh, yeah.
Would you like to see a new movie starring George Wendt? Would you eat beans with George Wendt?" Just
I
like,
forgot all about that.
I forgot all about that too.
it was completely random. George Wendt. Why George Wendt? I don't know, but it was just completely random, and for some reason, I still remember that to this day.
I always end up thinking of Cheers or the movie House with William Catt. If
Yes.
you've ever seen that, I like that movie.
William Catt, they thought he would be a big deal if that's the one that I'm thinking of. By the way, there's a 199 from the Dead Man, a thumbs up. Thank you, the Dead Man. I appreciate it. It's very, very nice of you, and we're always happy to see you here. George Wendt for me. You know what I always think about? It's really random, but there was this video, black and white, from Michael Jackson, and
Hmm.
Macaulay Culkin is playing guitar, and the guy that's his father that gets upset at him is George Wendt, and then he kind of plays his guitar so loud that George Wendt flies like to the moon. Do you remember that? Does anybody know what I'm talking about?
It's been a long time, but yeah.
Vaguely, but yeah.
Let me see. Let me see if I can find it. Michael Jackson, black or white. Oh, it's the shortened. Let's see, official video.
I'd say probably don't share much of the audio.
It's gonna be okay. I'll clip it later. It's gonna be okay. Let's see if I can share this.
And I also remember George returning repeatedly for the Super Chicago Superfans sketches
Oh, yeah.
on Saturday Night Live. Uh, Bob was he? I think he was Bob.
I remember that actually.
Bears.
All right, I'm gonna show it.
Go for it.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, man.
That was a classic George Wendt.
Well, rest in peace, George. You leave behind a great legacy, and especially with Cheers, but yeah, many other things. So, yeah, it's one of those things you're like, oh, yeah, I remember George Wendt. Yeah, well, it's sad to hear he's gone, right? Yeah.
I mean, listen, if you grew up watching Cheers, it was kind of like a guy you see every week. So
Oh, yeah.
there is
No
a
question.
nostalgic element. I mean, I didn't see throughout the day when anybody said that he passed away. I didn't see anybody like, oh, I don't like him. Most people like, oh no,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like you kind of saw him every week, and I can understand sometimes when you have that kind of connection, especially back in the day when there was a show like Cheers, the amount of millions of people that would be watching that show is something that you don't see today. So it was just something that kind of connected people back in the day, and I could see how this would, mean something to a lot of people. William Catt was in Carrie and was TV's greatest American hero. I feel like William Catt, they thought he was going to be a big deal, but he ended up being kind of not such a big deal.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Your description sometimes makes me laugh.
Yeah, there's always those people that they're like, oh, he's gonna be a big star, or oh yeah, she's gonna make it big. She's gonna go places, and then they make like 2 movies, and then they're done. They're gone.
I mean, he started off in Carrie, and then he made a few things. But what I remember him afterwards is that or what I mainly remember him is he was in the Perry Mason television movies, because I think that the actor that played the detective, Paul Drake, was dead. So they introduced William Cat, and they're just like, "Hey, it's Paul Drake Jr." That was their solution. They're like, "Remember Paul Drake? Well, this is his son." I love they used to be able to do that, and everybody would be like, "Cool," you know what I mean? Nobody had any questions. Why is his son also detective now? Nobody asked these kind of questions. It's like everybody just accepted this and moved on.
Yeah. Oh, and then William Cat was in. I was trying to remember what the movie was. It was Butch and Sundance, the early days.
Yes.
Oh, what a stinker of a film.
That is the reason he ended up in the Perry Mason movies. I think that after like the Butch and Sundance thing, they're like, okay, we can only put him in Perry Mason TV movies from now on.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Wikipedia that say I know it did really badly. Yeah, Wikipedia says it had a budget of $9 million in '79, and it only brought in $5 million in the box office. That is a certified bomb of a film. Yeah,
it is.
Yeah,
Void King, damn it, Price. Now I have to re-listen to Michael Jackson Dangerous album. Yeah, I'm going to tell you something. Not that anybody even wants to hear this. Michael Jackson's best albums are Off the Wall and Thriller. And the reason why those are the 2 best albums is that he was in the best mindset. And in addition, those were years that it was a real collaborative effort with his producer, Quincy Jones, who was an absolute genius. And I think that after the success of Thriller, rather than collaborating with Quincy Jones, it more became a situation of like, Quincy Jones has to listen to what Michael Jackson is saying, whereas Michael Jackson is Michael Jackson. And I honestly think that's a mistake, because nothing after Thriller was ever as good as Thriller or Off the Wall.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy to me that Thriller is still popular. I was watching something, and it's like it's still on like Billboard's top 100.
It's a timeless album, and that's the kind
it's a fantastic album. Just one song after the next, just incredible creativity. Yeah,
as the kind of young dum-dums say these days. You know what they call like the I don't want to say a bad word.
Bop.
A bop, yeah, it's a bop.
God, yes.
Man, Thriller had all these bops and bangers.
Wow.
You sound like such idiots.
I think you're gonna say it had Riz or Skibbity or
no,
something.
Riz. That's
Skibbity,
so 2024,
Skibbity.
man. What are you talking about?
It really slapped. All this like dumb crap.
You sound like people I work with.
Man,
my goodness. Well,
MJ really snapped. Sorry,
we got some super chats to read, buddy.
Oh, okay. MJ really snapped with that album. Let's see. Super chats, you say, let me find it. Oh, where was I? Okay, we have I feel like every night owl brings up Michael Jackson. And then, what's the problem? That was the Dead Man. Let me see if I can. I sometimes have a problem highlighting, so I have to kind of import his. Oh, you know what? I can do what we usually do. I can share the screen. It's like me sharing a screen of me sharing a screen. And Sean is caught in kind of like, he did something sneaky. And we freeze framed him. Now he's
I thought you were going to say he was caught in limbo.
Now he's recreating the same sneaky the same sneaky look he had on before.
Well, if I hold it really still, you won't know which one's the real one.
That's funny, man. Void King says, I agree with you, Price. Thriller and Off the Wall are his best. Also, Bad is great. Okay, so I'll tell you what I think about Bad, because people are asking me.
I think it's bad.
No, I don't think it's bad. I think that Bad is still an album that you had like Quincy Jones in the room. And that's why if you listen to those songs, if I had to give like maybe like after Off the Wall and Thriller, maybe Bad is the best one. But the truth is that Bad already has some issues. Of course, there's some brilliant songs there, and there's some things that I think Quincy Jones is still there and his presence is felt. But Michael really wanted to move away from the classic, timeless Quincy Jones sound and really look for like flavor of the month sounds of the moment. That's why I feel like, as opposed to like Off the Wall and Thriller, which feel timeless in their production to me, Bad sounds very much from the time that it was made. And that is an issue that I have with it. The only song there that I think on Bad that maybe rises up to the level of perhaps Thriller, maybe, is Smooth Criminal. Maybe. And that's one that, if I'm not mistaken, is one that like he let Quincy Jones do his job and didn't bother him as much. I mean, again, I have a lot of respect for Michael Jackson musically, but they did work as sort of musical partners on the previous albums, and the success, unfortunately, did kind of go to Michael's head in Bad. That's my interpretation of it, of course. Again, I mean, it's still better than most crap that you'll hear anywhere else. Like, it's good, Bad. It's not a bad album, even in spite of the name, but I'm just saying that when you have such perfection like Thriller and Off the Wall, it's hard not to feel a little bit of a letdown, after those two. Hey, DJ Play, nice to see you too.
Whee!
And Professor R2 somehow found a Rickroll kind of.
That's just one of the emotes on Rumble, yeah.
And people were using the emojis, which are difficult for me to show. Let me see for a second. Did I show the Dead Man's? So we had the. Oh wait, this is really interesting. We had the Dead Man gave a thumbs up, or 199, and then he wrote "Koalas in the Rain." No.
Koalas in the rain.
No fucks given. Koalas. I've always wondered where that even came from. Like, I know that it's from Midnight's Edge, but I don't know before Midnight's Edge where I've ever even seen it.
They got it from some other channel, and they just cross their fingers that they never get struck for it.
I see.
At least that was the explanation.
Rain, no fucks given. But it's good. And then the Dead Man said, I feel like every night Owl brings up Michael Jackson. True. What's the problem? Which is also true. So it's good. I caught all of the ones. Oh, you have that sample.
Problem.
So yeah, it's cool, and I like that people even use the little emojis. I really need to refresh the emojis, and I know I need the T-shirts or whatever it is. There will be T-shirts and emojis.
What's a T-shirt?
You better believe it. So I guess
I'll get started on some night owl emojis. Let's see.
On some night owl what?
Some night owl emojis. Let's see. We need a lore emoji. Okay. Let's see. Well, I'll see what else I can come up with.
Speaking of emojis, Trump wants to build a golden dome.
Amazing. Master of segues.
Master. The way we shift from one topic to the other on this show. Yeah, so Trump, he wants to build the golden dome. It's funny because
build a glorious golden dome. It's going to be amazing.
It's going to be the best dome.
It's going to be huge. It's going to be the best dome.
Yes. The thing is that I guess in Israel they have the Iron Dome, so the U.S. has to have like the Golden Dome because it has.
Well, and it's Trump too, right? Like everything. All he does all these things and that are all gold plated, like the Trump building, right? It's gold everywhere, so it's on brand at least.
Absolutely, and let me see if I can find. Let me see if I can find that clip of him talking about it or something, because I did have it somewhere.
I do have one here. If you want me to share it.
Okay.
If I can get the screen.
We're building a dome.
Whoop. Okay.
In the campaign, I promised the American people that I would build a cutting-edge missile defense shield to protect our homeland from the threat of foreign missile attack. And that's what we're doing. Today, I'm pleased to announce that we have officially selected an architecture for this state-of-the-art system that will deploy next-generation technologies across the land, sea, and space, including space-based sensors and interceptors. And Canada has called us and they want to be a part of it. So we'll be talking to them. They want to have protection also.
Mr. President, add this to the long and growing list of promises made and promises kept. Ultimately, this right here, the Golden Dome for America, is game changer. It's a generational investment in the security of America and Americans. President Reagan, 40 years ago, cast the vision for it. The technology wasn't there. Now it is, and you're following through to say we will protect the homeland from cruise missiles, ballistic missiles, hypersonic missiles, drones, whether they're conventional or nuclear.
We're going to build a Golden Dome, and Mexico's going to pay for it. No, wait, that's something else. Sorry.
Now, as much as this is, of course, they're doing the whole show and tell thing, I assume that if nothing else from what I was reading, it could be good, for economy, for jobs, for something, right?
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, it's not a bad idea to put money towards this, to national defense. I mean, of all the things that the federal government is supposed to do, literally in the Constitution, it says provide for the common defense. It's one of the things that the government is actually supposed to be spending its time and money on, not all these race-based, gender-based programs to highlight whatever marginalized group, whatever. That's not part of what is defined as the job of the government, right? The common defense is, and yes, this is something that even if you look at the cost, they're saying, oh, here's going to be the cost of this compared to what we've just thrown away on worthless stuff over the past 4 years of just money that we've been printing and dumping into the economy. It's a drop in the bucket. So, to me, especially if it's something where we're going to be building it in a partnership, potentially with Canada and maybe even with Mexico, that we would be, building up a system that we wouldn't be paying for all of it ourselves. Trump's not gonna step up and say, "Oh, we'll pay for it. It's fine." No, he's gonna make everyone else pay pay part of that as well. So, honestly, I have no problem with this idea. It's something where you got to make sure that you're going to be getting uh, what you pay for.
Yeah, I mean, I can't. I don't think that this is something controversial or anything. I think that having a good defense system is good. I mean, don't really have anything bad to say about it.
So looks like the initial investment of 25 billion with a total cost of 175 billion, and that's over time to continue to build out the system. And again, if it's going to be a partnership that's going to happen with a few different groups, that would change. The Congressional Budget Office has estimated that it would ultimately spend 542 billion over 20 years on the space-based parts of the system alone. But again, the different offices, different estimates. You never know exactly where that's going to come in.
It's not going to all happen overnight. I was wondering because I don't remember him mentioning this in the conference. Do you think Elon Musk is going to have anything to do with this?
No idea.
Because I would have thought that he would have mentioned something. Because I don't know, Elon Musk is good at this technology stuff, but Trump didn't mention him, so I just thought, oh, okay, maybe he's not involved. I love that now we got the sneaky Sean back.
Frozen Sean.
The Frozen the Joker Sean. I love that gets me every time that Sean is trying to imitate his own sneaky look.
When I make that face, it makes me laugh.
It's great. Thank you, Sean. That's good. So I guess we had that. There was another thing. What was it? Oh, there was something. Did you see that something that they thought that Israel was going to start? They said they found something that they're going to throw.
Oh yeah, potentially. Going after some Iranian nuclear sites. Yes.
I don't know what to believe. That's from CNN. I don't really,
Yeah.
Personally,
hard to know sometimes.
I sometimes think also that there's a strategic thing going on. This is just my personal opinion, but I think that sometimes there's a strategic situation where Trump is trying to negotiate, and in the meantime, you have this thing in the background, quote unquote, leaked to CNN of all places, and then it's kind of sort of I don't know how to explain it, but I feel like this isn't just some random thing that somebody like happened to find at CNN headquarters. I think that, and this is my personal opinion, that this was deliberately sent to them for them to say this. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah. Another thing, it didn't have it on the list, but another thing that's been all over the news the last couple of days has been Joe Biden. One, we've had the book that's being published about the sort of the cover up of his decline, his mental decline while he was in office. But then on Friday we had the announcement that he has been diagnosed with prostate cancer. I know this is usually your job, Price, to be the one with conspiracy theories. But this whole thing is extremely fishy. Really fishy. So they said on Friday, they're like, oh well, he's been diagnosed with prostate cancer. And let me be clear. I don't usually swear a lot on streams. I don't work blue, but fuck cancer. Okay, just gonna say it. Sorry, Sean, but F cancer. But I do not wish him ill. That's not what I'm saying here. I hope he has to recover. I hope he's not in too much pain. I'm not wishing the misery, the awful stuff that cancer can do to you on anyone. I have two close family members who died from lung cancer, and I've seen what it can do to someone. And no, cancer is awful. I don't care who's getting it. I don't wish that on anyone. But the whole the timing of it, right? The timing of the announcement and everything that we've been getting behind the scenes seems really fishy. What do you think, Bryce?
I think that, and again, I don't claim to be a doctor, but I think that first of all, I don't wish anybody ill when it comes to health and things like that. I don't wish that on Joe Biden. That's not what I'm wishing on people at all. But when it comes to, like you said, separating that and looking, he was the president, who knew what? And I tend to think that he couldn't have had this without anybody knowing. Not at the stage that he's in now, not in the situation he's in now. And then you have to wonder, well, if people did know about it, then why wasn't the American public told? Especially when this guy was running, if he hadn't been like fumbling his debates, they wouldn't have said anything. They would have happily just kept him there and not said anything to anybody. So that, along with the auto pen pardoning all those 2,400 people in one day. When you see in interviews now, he couldn't even remember when Trump was elected, when his son died. He was completely confused in these interviews that we're now hearing.
Oh yeah, that was quite the revelation. They actually get to hear that audio.
Man, did that sound bad.
Oh yeah, because remember when that special prosecutor, when he came forward, was saying, hey, here's what I found. And they were saying, oh, he's a liar. He's a partisan to say that the president isn't in control of his faculties, whatever. And then you hear the audio. Wow. Yeah.
That was really, really, really disappointing.
Wow. So, So there were people, clearly, there were people inside the White House. Jill Biden, his chief of staff, tons of other people who were around him, Secret Service, who were covering up the fact that he was in severe mental decline. And I have no reason to doubt that they were also covering up that he had cancer. If they were willing to cover that up, they would cover up his cancer, no question. And I am not a doctor. You've said it yourself. I am not a doctor. I know some about this disease, about prostate cancer. I can tell you that, first of all, when they first said he had prostate cancer, I went, yeah, so what? Because if you don't know, 80% of men over the age of 80 have prostate cancer.
I see.
Whether it's advanced or not, they have some stage of prostate cancer. It's incredibly common. As men age, it just happens. Now, whether it's the type that really gets out of control and starts metastasizing, or if it's more of just a tumor type thing, but like they've done studies on both men that are alive and then on cadavers after the fact, and they found that approximately 80% of men over the age of 80 have some kind of prostate cancer. So at first I was like, oh, he has prostate cancer. Yeah, he's old. That happens.
Right.
My grandfather had prostate cancer when he died, and they basically said, well, you have prostate cancer. We're not going to do anything about it because something else is going to kill you first. So
sometimes you have, that happens sometimes when somebody's older and he develops something like that. They prefer not to even start dealing with it because when you're older, I think that it moves slower. It's a slower progress.
It just depends. It's entirely dependent on the type of cancer. There's multiple different types of prostate cancer. Some of them can be, I've known someone who was diagnosed with prostate cancer in his 30s, and they keep checking it every year. He's not on any kind of treatment or anything. It's just like we know it's there, and we're just going to keep an eye on it kind of thing, right? But the thing that's hard to believe would be that at this point they're saying that it's advanced to where it's now moved out of the prostate, it's moved into his bones. And from what I have read, and from the some of the experts that I have read materials from that have talked about this, essentially most oncologists that deal with this on a regular basis would say, okay, even if this is an aggressive prostate cancer, this doesn't just show up after 100 days.
Right.
This doesn't just show up after 6 months, right? They would have known, in all likelihood, for someone to reach this stage, either they have been completely neglected. So somebody who is in a population that does not have regular health care, right? Someone who's poor, homeless, or just someone who is not seeking out medical care. They haven't seen a doctor in 3-4 years or something. But that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about the president of the United States. He was getting checkups on at least a yearly basis, probably much more commonly than that, much more frequently than that. And so to believe that they had no clue whatsoever that he had prostate cancer while he was in office, potentially, from what I've read, many doctors say typically it would take 5 to 7 years to progress to this point. And so potentially had prostate cancer before he even took office. I mean, that seems massively irresponsible to not share that, to hide that from the American people.
It doesn't surprise me at this point that people that they didn't share stuff with us. I think they didn't share his mental decline. They didn't share that he had cancer, which isn't something that could have happened overnight. And even that auto pen. I mean, the auto pen thing. Did you read that? The auto pen pardoned 2,400 people in one day.
Oh yeah. They used the hell out of that thing.
Was it AI? They just gave it a task and let it do its thing.
Yeah, they just this auto pen was actually running the White House. I wanted to quickly say that the dead man, after he wrote "What's the problem?" and Murakstra, some cause joy where they go, others when they go. Okay.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
I see what you're saying, but I'm still trying to be positive, and I don't wish any. It's just not good. I don't know if to call it good karma or whatever it is. I don't generally go and wish bad upon people. I don't wish people to be sick or things like that. With that being said, it's not that I don't think that there's fishy things going on. Kalekioki sent $1.99. Just a sticker without really saying anything, which is cool. Hey, Kalekioki. And then that means that we reached our fan funding goal. And the fan funding goal, what is it that I said I would do?
Face reveal.
No, face reveal. Good one. Oh, I wrote, I'll sing a song. I guess write in the comments what song you want me to sing. I mean, I'm not going to sing the whole thing, but just a little bit, you know?
They're like Thriller.
So Elizabeth Quince, having lived and swam in the swamp, there's no evil the swamp creatures won't do to stay in power. Bless you, all of you. Wish I could be naive and trusting again. I am not very naive and trusting, but
I
bigot on
saw.
socialist media say anything negative about his health during a presidency. It's a conspiracy theory,
Yeah, of course.
of
Yeah,
course.
I was gonna say, like, why is everyone surprised? And I saw
Yeah,
Jake Tapp. I went to the dentist today, and for some reason, there's a TV right in front of me playing CBS, and
Oh,
I
geez.
saw Jake Tapper was being interviewed about writing a book and how he uncovered all this stuff, and I'm like, weren't you one of the ones saying he's fine for like ever?
Yep. Yep.
Dirty Diana. I guess he was referring to songs on Bad that were pretty good. Dirty Diana, I guess, was pretty good. Maybe I could give that could give that one a pass. And by the way, Dirty Diana is obviously about Diana Ross, who those who watch The Night Owl know once that she called me when I was on a bus.
What did
That
she
is a
call
true
you?
story.
Hey, you, move over.
What'd you say?
What did she call you? Hey, you, shove over.
No, I got a phone call when I was on a bus, and it was Diana Ross. As I was basically getting off a bus, but like it was Diana Ross, and she asked me some questions about an event, and I didn't know the answers, and I was kind of an idiot.
That's
It
a
has something to do with
fantastic story.
what'd you say?
That's a sensational story.
It is actually a very sensational story, because the best part is that I didn't think it was her. I thought it was a friend pranking me, but it ended up being her. I told this story once. It's just dumb. But I'll just say there was an event that a company that I worked for, we were sending out events to some important people, and I gave her people I sent them an email with like a PDF or whatever it is, an invitation for Diana Ross to go to some event, and I forgot about it. And when they gave her the invitation, they forwarded the email with my contact info. So she was basically calling me and asking about the info within that email, but I probably wasn't the best person to ask all the questions she was asking, so
Yeah, so it was her fault.
You know what? It was my fault. I could have been more prepared, but at the end of the day, I couldn't give her the answers that she wanted. Let's just leave it at that. Anyhow, remember when Whoopi Goldberg wanted Dr. Jill to be the Surgeon General, and yet Dr. Jill never found this problem when a simple blood test can be used to show it in its early days? I think they probably knew, and they just didn't want to say anything. They would have said
Quite
nothing.
likely. Yeah.
They just wanted him to get over the finish line and somehow make it for another 4 years after he would have been elected. Even if they would have had to have rolled him out like Christopher Pike in not in the original pilot episode, but in the one later.
Yep.
Is that the Menagerie? Which one is
the Menagerie? Yep. Parts 1 and 2.
Parts 1 and 2. They wanted to Christopher Pike him like in the Menagerie. They would have totally done that, or they would have just said, "Hey, you know what? We need to bring a replacement now."
Mm-hmm.
I saw somebody. Who was it I saw today? Also, it was Scott Adams, Dilbert cartoonist, announced that he has prostate cancer and probably only has a few months to live. It's very sad.
I see. Yeah, I saw that. I'm trying to think. Somebody said, let me see for a second. Somebody asked if I could sing the song Neighbors.
The Neighbors theme song.
Neighbors, everybody needs good neighbors with a little understanding. What else? You can find the perfect place, neighbors. Something like that. I don't really know because I haven't heard that in a long time, but it's something dumb like that. Anyhow, how did we get here? What were we even talking about? You got the theme stuck in my head. I hadn't watched it in almost 2 decades. Yeah, it's a very catchy theme. Sean, are you still doing the thing where you're... That's the best. Now I think forever, Sean, I should just always have this image of Sean doing this. It's rare that I laugh, but seeing Sean trying to recreate the face of Sean is just, that's what I enjoy watching. That's even funnier than Trump's Golden Dome. So, yeah, I guess a lot of conspiracies. The whole thing with Biden is weird, but they did pass some bill. I don't know if you saw it. They passed the thing where there's no Senate unanimously. I don't know why it's not showing it. Oh, it is showing it. Senate unanimously approves no tax on tips act. Finally, for the first time in the history of I don't know what, they all agreed that taxing on tips is not good. And so I guess up to $25,000 they won't tax people on tips.
Holy cow, that's a heck of a tip.
That should have happened a long time ago, honestly. People who do work on tips definitely deserve to get a little break. I once worked as a waiter and had to deal with tips reporting was incredibly frustrating because you would have to put your tips in, report however much, and of course a bunch of people would cheat, right? They just wouldn't report their tips or wouldn't report all of their tips. But if you didn't report any tips, you were likely to get your ass in trouble. So.
Tom says it's still for Midnight's Edge After Dark says it still has to go through Congress.
It still has to go through the House, yeah, but the House that they've got control. We've got control of the House, and it's gonna go through. And it went through unanimously on the one side. So
yeah, I think that this is more likely to pass. Jeanette said, "Très bien, merci beaucoup, Mademoiselle Jeanette. Tu es très jolie." Sean is very impressed.
I am.
Tom says super chats should count as tips. I think that super chats. I don't know how that's going to work. I feel like I'm not sure. The way. Knowing how these things work, somehow it's probably not going to be considered that. I think this is more tips. Maybe in restaurants, if you leave a tip not in cash, they'll give them those tips. I don't know if they'll treat that the same way. But you never know. Maybe this will start a conversation, and people will start pressuring YouTube to do super chats as tips. I mean, even today. I'm not going to say what I want to say. I'm just going to keep that thought to myself. Fine, I'll say it. I mean, theoretically, I assume that you could take tips and, pay them maybe to a corporation. And maybe there's a way to set that up in a way that's a bit favorable. I'm going to shut up now.
Yeah.
Does it have the same effect if you don't have the picture to compare it to?
Oh, wait, where is that picture? Why don't I have that picture?
Because you're sharing the Senate thing. Would you save a screenshot or something?
It's always going to be
paused.
This is Irwin's new potato. My dream is to see Price on Nerd Wars again. That's going to happen. I wasn't there, I think, in the recent one. I've had a lot going on, but I'll try to show up for Nerd Wars soon. But thank you for noticing that I am on Nerd Wars. In any case,
sorry.
Is that Irwin's sock puppet account?
You know what? I'm not 100% sure. I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it is Irwin himself. I have no idea. But if it is, it's nice to see him here. And I guess the real question is who's going to vote against no on tax tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security? Not like seniors will be cool with that. I don't think they should tax seniors on Social Security. I really think that they shouldn't do that. That's my personal opinion. I mean, the whole idea of giving them the Social Security, why are you taxing them? It's just kind of, you know.
Sounds super scummy.
Yes, it really defeats the purpose, in my opinion. And isn't there inheritance tax? I don't know now. Is there, Professor, is there inheritance tax these days?
These days, I don't actually know. I think there is some. I know that there's been a lot of discussion of that over in the UK. I'm not sure what it is here, but I do think we have some. And some of it depends on how you structure, your own family's, finances and stuff when you go to hand things down. That's why you've got estate planners out there that that will set things up in a trust or whatever so that you can avoid as many taxes as possible.
Jeanette says seniors are eating cat food because they make so little on Social Security. Oh no, Sean's gone.
Yeah. It's true. I mean, there's a lot of people who are struggling. The problem is that Social Security was never meant to be something that would completely take care of someone in their old age. It was never meant to be a perfect individual retirement system, and it was never designed that way. Honestly, I expect that I will never see a penny of Social Security. I most certainly will never see as much money out of Social Security as I've paid in. So yeah. Social Security should have been handled much differently in the past, but there's really not a whole lot we can do about it now.
I agree. And I like what Adam Gray is saying. Taxing the money you were already taxed on when you paid in, genius. Yeah, I mean, that's what I don't like about it. And I didn't know old people eat cat food. I really hope they don't.
That's silly. There's not that many people eating cat food, but I mean, they
Isn't
are
that
eating
dangerous?
they're eating spam. They're eating, pasta, the really, really cheap stuff that they can purchase at the store. Cat food would actually probably be more expensive than some of the other garbage that you could buy.
Yeah, especially if you try to get like fancy fees. Some of these
Oh
things are
yeah, yeah.
expensive. But what I wanted to ask you is, I think that if a human ate cat food, I think that would be bad.
It could be. It's not, it's not rated for human consumption.
No, it's not for human consumption. I mean, I hope that human would never eat it. Has any human ever tried to eat cat food, do you think, Professor?
Oh, I'm quite sure that they have. I mean, I've eaten a dog bone on a dare.
You did? What did it taste like?
Oh, it was awful. Imagine the most flavorless cookie that literally just soaks up every drop of moisture you get in your mouth. Like it's so dry. It was incredibly difficult to finish that cookie, or that dog bone. But I did.
DJ Play Nice says cat food is more than tuna, and you're right, it is. I think that I could buy tuna for cheaper than cat food, especially, like I said, those kind of fancy feast kind. Those things aren't cheap, especially, there's different kinds even of fancy feast, and some of them are even more expensive. And I feel like they're more expensive than they've ever been now.
Sounds like an ad campaign. Cat food is more than tuna. Sounds like an ad campaign for Fancy Feast.
Butcher scraps are cheaper. Low grade hot dogs are cheaper.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah.
Adam Gray. I haven't had a hot dog and Midnight's Edge After Dark. Is sure somebody has eaten cat food, I guess.
Yes, I'm sure someone has.
Spam is expensive now. Yeah, in Hawaii, they actually take spam very seriously in Hawaii. When you go to Hawaii and you're like, you want to eat gourmet stuff, they'll like bring out the spam. They love it. I've
yeah.
never been to
Oh,
Hawaii. I'm just
I've
speculating.
made I'll make spam sliders around the house. Hawaiian spam sliders. I've made those before. You've ever
Are they
had
popular in the Professor R2 household?
No, they are not. In fact, I'm the only one that will eat the spam. But you know what? It's fine. Uh, there's a lot of stuff in this house that I'm the only one that will eat it. No one else in my house will eat seafood of any kind.
Oh.
I'm the only one that will eat seafood. So
That's strange. That I don't get. What's
Yeah.
wrong with seafood?
I live with a bunch of communists.
yeah, I don't know. Just none, and my wife doesn't like seafood. My kids won't eat it. Yeah, so
That's kind of strange. I mean, they never eat a fish or anything.
nope.
Not like a
I've
salmon?
once convinced them to eat salmon, and that went over like a lead balloon. And so,
I really don't understand it. I mean,
yeah.
that's
Oh no.
just
So yeah, all sorts of stuff that I just have to make for myself, or when we eat out somewhere, I get it for myself. But yeah, no one else in the house will eat seafood or shellfish or anything like that.
oh well. I don't know.
Yep. Yep.
What is it that they do like? Do they like chicken cutlets? What do they?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of other stuff. Of course, my son is one of the pickiest eaters on earth, so that doesn't help things either. But yeah, I mean, we eat lots of other stuff. Yeah, chicken, pork, yeah, turkey,
That's it.
I mean,
vegetable. Like there's other things. Just the seafood. Like they just won't eat. They refuse to eat seafood.
Tim Hayes asked me if I'm Hawaiian. I'm not Hawaiian. People have asked me if I was Native American, which I'm not. People have asked me if I'm Hawaiian, which I'm also not. I've also gotten French Canadian, which I'm also not. But what I will say is
We're
that throughout
narrowing
my
it
life,
down.
I moved around. So there were different times that I lived in some different places. And that's why I have a strange accent. Because I was never locked into one place. But I probably have said this before, that initially, back in when I was really young, I believe that my accent sounded like 100% like quote unquote normal American, and then it became like a weird accent.
Mm.
Oh well. At least it kind of makes it unique because it almost sounds legit, and there's just something weird about it that nobody could put their finger on. I assume. I mean, I don't know how it sounds like to other people, but that was. You used to be a DJ on a radio station? You have the voice for it. You know what? I wish I did. I wish I was a DJ on a radio station, especially if I was like a popular one that can still make money off of that today. Because today, I think if you get up and you're like, I want to be a DJ on a radio station, I don't even know if such a job really exists for new people. I don't even know if radio is still a thing. Six thinks you're black, Bryce. Six once saw a video of me at a convention, and I think she probably knows by now that is actually not true. But hey, you know what? If that's what people think, it's like a deep voice. Is that the reason? I don't know.
The more you tell us the things that you aren't, the more we're able to narrow it down.
You just identify however you want.
Whalem03 thought he was Welsh. Oh, you got me Lucky Charms.
That's Irish.
Oh, what was Welsh supposed to be? I don't even know.
I don't know.
I have no
Welsh.
idea.
Just start babbling nonsense, and you'll get to Welsh eventually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that language makes no damn sense.
Oh, in any case, yeah, Sean's here tonight, dude. Rosef, cheers. And the one final thing, and I probably have told you this before, that I could actually make an effort so that my accent will sound more normal. If I cared about it and made more of an effort, it could come out more normally, kind of like what I'm doing now. But I just don't feel like doing it. I feel like it's too much of an effort for me to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that makes sense. Anyhow, I'm not Welsh. Mahler is Welsh. That's good to know. Dude Bro Seth, who was it? Bigot on socialist media says my family is from Yugoslavia. That's good to know. Yugoslavia used to be part of Russia. Now Russia is like 70 countries that all talk the same language and act like they're the same. That's just my opinion. That's one man's opinion. I don't know anything. I could be an idiot. Sorry. Everybody's going to be offended by what I just said.
I clarified in the chat. I have no problem with the Welsh. It's just their language that's nonsense.
I don't hate you. I just hate everything you stand for.
Everything you stand for.
No, but you know what I mean? Because it used to be Russia, and then they broke up into a bunch of other countries. Like, no, it's not going to be anymore. Now it's a bunch of other countries, and it's like, is it really? But that is my opinion. But he's also a Mon Calamari internet cartoon Muppet. That's right, Tim Hayes. Anyhow, I think we went over all this political stuff. One Dirty Bird, how's it going? One Dirty Bird is a friend of the channel, almost an hour behind, but I is higher here. Okay, and yeah, you're probably going to watch it at fast speed, and you're going to catch up at some point, and I appreciate that.
And you'll come across numerous instances of me just...
Oh, Yugoslavia may have been part of the communist bloc, but separate of the USSR. You know what? I'm just a normie. All these things all seem tied to me. Then they kind of weren't together. Then they were together. I don't know what. I don't know what to think about all of that. It's like the more things change, the more they stay the same. The one thing that I'll say is that I think all of the USSR, like breaking up into a million countries, really messed up that Eurovision competition. Because Eurovision, it used to have a certain amount of countries, and you do like this event in one night, and it was some cheesy thing that like some countries would send their different representatives to sing. Now they do it over the course of like 3 nights. There's a million countries there. They added all these people there, and now another thing is that Eurovision thing. It's always been cheesy and silly, the Eurovision competition, but for some reason they actually. What am I trying to say? They did like an LGBT takeover of that event. Do you know what I'm talking about? Does anybody have any clue what I'm saying?
I have never watched even a minute of Eurovision that wasn't just in some video on YouTube that somebody shared.
It's ridiculous, okay? I mean, here's what it used to be. It used to be that basically there wasn't internet. You didn't have these kind of interaction with all these people. You didn't have a lot of situations where so many countries are tuning into one program. And somebody thought at some point, why don't we do this kind of European song competition where every state sends a representative to sing? And then they'll compete one night, and it'll be this big thing that there's like judges from different countries, and they had a system, and they did it. Now, that competition has always been rather cheesy. It's not exactly like, high art or, usually the music you got there was really campy and cheesy. But you know what? Because there was no internet, that idea, and for the times that I spent outside the U.S., that I witnessed this a few times, I thought it was interesting that all these countries were tuning in together when there wasn't internet, and they're all watching the same show, and they're all rooting for their country and their singers and whatever it is. No matter how cheesy and campy it was, I thought it actually had value. But these days, and especially probably over the past 10, 20 years, it's gradually become like a LGBT extravaganza. I mean, like, they push that whole theme to the max. Like, if you don't have a bunch of pronoun people in this thing, you don't have a competition. Like, they want to push that to the max. And you know what? I don't know. I think that in our day and age with the internet, it's not as interesting as it was before. Without the campy, cheesy thing, it kind of becomes just annoying. It's just a very, very annoying show, in my opinion, these days. They've basically made it so only maybe some LGBT people would enjoy watching it. But as opposed to a lot of the kind of woke stuff in Hollywood, I think that at least there is an audience of LGBT people around the world that love watching it. I don't know if it's enough to keep that thing going, but I assume some people watch it. And by the way, they tried to tie it to Doctor Who. Did you know that, Professor?
Oh yes, I did see. I saw several reviews of this week's episode of Doctor Who tied into the Eurovision episode, where there's a song competition in Doctor Who. Oh,
It was so stupid. They were trying to make it like that instead of Eurovision, it's now the Interstellar competition. They obviously created that episode to air along with this ceremony, trying to get some LGBT people to watch Doctor Who, and maybe they did. I just don't think that that audience is going to be enough to keep this show going. Maybe one episode they had some more people watching, as part of the enthusiasm of the Eurovision. They got some viewers to watch that crappy episode. It was such an embarrassing. Russell T Davies has become this kind of J.J. Abrams type of just dangling these kind of member berries and just being annoying.
it's
I don't know.
terrible. Yeah, it's terrible. And yeah, they brought back the
Granddaughter,
Ronnie.
they brought back Susan from from the early days of
Yeah,
Doctor Who.
yeah.
From the William Hartnell days. They actually brought like the actress who is really old, and they brought her back. Now, I like the actress. I like the idea of bringing her back. I like the idea of bringing her character back. I like the idea of maybe bringing her back, having her regenerate. All these things are things that I would have liked in a different time. Not when you see Nashudi Gatwa walking around all flamboyantly and hopping around and doing whatever, and then he has a vision of her and she's like, "Grandfather, where are you?" And I'm like, "Man, this sucks. This is so embarrassing." Like it's like the ultimate cringe when I saw it. It was just I was sad because I liked seeing the actress, but man, is that crappy. Sorry. Well, that wasn't a bad word. I'm not going to say sorry, Sean. And somebody said we need America Vision. I think that part of the reason maybe they don't jump on making that America Vision is because you have all that American Idol and The Voice and all that stuff. American Idol and The Voice basically ruined music. It's not the only thing that ruined it. You could also blame, file sharing and the way the record industry changed and becoming more corporate and more commercial and a lot of stuff like that. But those American Idol and those voice shows absolutely did damage to music. It used to be that you need to be like a real artist, that you create music in some garage, that you build character, that you go out, that you really like people slam their door in your face, that you build something and you have like a breakout song or music, or you really work hard to make it. These days, you have these kind of like douchey people going to these kind of shows. It's all so candy ass and fake and generic. And even if they bring people that can actually sing the notes, I never wanted to listen to music because somebody knew how to sing the song, like just sing the notes. I want to hear because I want to hear artistry and I want to hear somebody with character. And most of these people they bring to these things, they don't have any character. They just sound like some generic crap. But that's just my opinion, Professor.
Oh yeah, I can't stand watching any of these things anymore.
I never liked them.
Yeah. There were some of these early singing competitions that there was something there. There was some innocence and some fun there, but it's all just gotten so ridiculous now. Everyone that comes on, and it sounds like Eurovision is over the top. Everyone that comes on's got to out crazy the person who was there before, be more out there. And then it's all, somebody mentioned in the chat, they're talking about how it's all like it's all about the drama, the judges and stuff. I don't give a crap about the judges.
I don't care about them either. I don't care about any of those people.
Why do we care?
I agree. It's all crap.
Yeah.
It all sounds the same as people are saying here. It removes the element of character. Like, if you go to Broadway, I can show you a lot of actors that every note that they sing is perfect. They're really good at singing. It doesn't mean that they're like rock and roll, that they're cool or they're artists. It means that they can sing. And that's the same thing that happens on these shows. And I don't know. It doesn't do it for me. I think that overall that ruined music. I think that a lot of bad things happen to music just in the past, 20 years. Uh, it's a decline unlike anything we've ever seen before. It's music now. When you think of like the 50s, you can think of a certain style of music, like this kind of doo-wop, early rhythm and blues type of thing. You think about the 60s, you think about like rock and roll, throughout the 60s. 70s, you're going more for like progressive rock. Maybe it's becoming more like hard rock, maybe punk rock. 80s, really shifting into a lot of like synth stuff. But even so, there's still a bit of rock, and there's even the synthesizer thing, as goofy and silly as it was, it still has characters. 90s returning to kind of grunge sound. Maybe there's a bit, in the late 80s and sort of into the 90s, it's like growing the whole hip hop scene. You have like, some pop, some whatever, but from about 2000, you only get the crappiest music for the most part. Most of what came out since like the year 2000, or at least like 2005, maybe the past 20 years, has been just the same crappy thing. Usually it's like a handful, like there's like 10 producers that have produced like all the major hits from 2005 till today, that you keep seeing them and hearing them over and over again, the same shit. That's why all these songs sound the same. There's this guy. I'm sorry, I know I'm going on a weird rant and people are probably going to jump ship now. There's this guy called Benny Blanco. I guess he's dating Selena Gomez or something like that. And sometimes if I look on YouTube, I get recommended videos. I guess everybody loves hearing this guy talk about how he created these like big hits. And they're all sharing it and they're like, "Oh man, listen, preach. Listen to this man preach." So this guy is just some, nothing personal. Maybe he's a nice guy, but he's like sitting there and explaining how there was like some crappy song that I don't know if Maroon 5 sang it or Rihanna or something, and it's such a crappy song. The guy is talking as if he wrote like, I'm trying to think, like he wrote like Stairway to Heaven or something. He's talking like as if he wrote like I don't know what, Yesterday. You know what I mean? Like the way he talks, you think he actually has any kind of significance. He's talking about like these crappy flavor of the month songs that were popular for like a minute. You heard them like, the second they came out, they probably were attached to like a laundry detergent commercial. Uh, and that's what he's like boasting about, how great he's like, "Dude, I was in the studio and then I dropped a dope beat. Yeah. And I called my friend and he said, 'Yeah, what do you think about this? Why don't you drop some dope vocals on it?'" I'm like, "Dude, this is shit. Why are you showing me this fucking clip?" Sorry, Sean. So yeah, so this Benny Blanco thing, maybe he's the nicest guy and all. I don't understand why I keep seeing clips of him talking about him making shitty songs. Oh, sorry, Sean. Do anybody even know what I'm talking about? I'm just going on the weirdest rant.
I agree that music sucks nowadays.
But do you know who Benny Blanco is, or am I just the
Not a
craziest person?
clue.
Not a clue.
So, okay, I guess if somebody's asking, is it Benny Blanco from the Bronx? Okay, there's a movie with Al Pacino, Carlito's Way, where he plays a Latino criminal. Again, probably something that wouldn't fly today. In any case, in that movie, there's a guy at the end or whatever. I don't want to ruin it for anybody who hasn't seen it. There's a character there called Benny Blanco from the Bronx. So this guy that's going out with Selena Gomez must have taken on that name and turned it into sort of a nickname for him as a producer. So it's all connected. And if you ever kind of go on YouTube or just if you flip like, those kind of 30-second ones like YouTube Shorts, you'll eventually land on Benny Blanco telling you a story about how he dropped some dope beats. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm good.
I'm annoyed that you can't share my anger with me. You don't know what I'm talking about. Some dope beats, yo.
I turned 44 recently. I'm good with not researching crap that I'm gonna hate.
You've hit the point in your life where you're like, you know what? It's okay if I don't like new music. I can just go back and listen to old music. I hit that point when I was like 14, but it's okay. It takes longer for most people.
Yeah. I don't know. I think the internet ruined a lot. And
Okay, so
I do wish
here's
that
okay, so here I just have to play. This is like a 43-second clip.
oh boy.
So this is Benny Blanco. I'm telling you that if you go to YouTube Shorts, you'll end up seeing a video of him talking, and you have like people like kissing his ass in the comments. Are you ready?
Price's rage runs deep. Oh, I already don't like him.
Okay, this is Benny Blanco. I don't know why his video is.
There was a friend of mine, and I remember there was like a kernel of an idea that they sent me, and this was the original.
Ah, shoot! Why is it getting stuck, Professor?
I was on a train, and I like started producing it up. There's like a slightly more produced up version. This is my first attempt at like a little thing, and then
you can stop this anytime you want.
And then we came up with like a verse. Every single person told us it wouldn't work. A lot of big songs, people don't really believe it until it's too late. And I just have to trust my intuition. There's so many different versions of these.
So basically, this guy is talking like he's like, Louis Armstrong. You know what I mean?
Is he, you said he's dating Selena?
He's dating Selena Gomez. And yeah, the thing, these like, you have all these clips that he's like, man, I was sitting on a train. And that's how you create these big songs. I'm like, dude, you created a piece of shit song that sounds like I said, it sounds like a jingle for like a laundry detergent.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that song sounded like ass. I don't know what he's talking. That song was awful.
That's what I'm trying to explain to you. That like every clip that I see, there's some crappy song, and he's like, man. You wouldn't believe it. People didn't believe in me, but I said,
People
nah,
don't believe in the song.
I dropped the dope beats. I dropped the dope beats. People didn't believe in me. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking? So, yeah, that is what I think. I'm sorry.
I think we
don't know.
I think we accepted that he was going to be terrible. We didn't have to sit through it, but as long as you feel better about it.
Do you believe me now why this guy annoys me when I see his clips?
Even before.
Bingo Hazmat. Price of Reason. We get in so much good rock music from Japan in the last 15 years. Who needs that Western stuff? Is Japan doing good rock music? I don't know.
Sure, but I can't understand the word of it.
Void King. Oh, I hate Payphone and Maroon 5. Maroon 5, if they would have... I think that Adam Levine, if he would have had him maybe active in the early 90s or something with like actual bands with guitars and stuff that weren't none of this kind of more cheesy stuff, he could have been like a decent frontman to a band if there was some good music there. But the problem is that by the time they came around, all they do is these kind of just like, listen, you have to pay your bills, and I understand that, but man, those songs to me sound crappy. They're very poppy, very cheesy, most of them pretty forgettable. Definitely doesn't justify like a million YouTube shorts of this guy talking about like, how big he is and how great like his music is or whatever. Just my thoughts.
That's how I made my #1 hit, bro.
and usually the comments are like so supportive. They're like, man, this man's a genius. This is what a genius looks like.
Just walking through a grocery store and a song hit me. I called it cabbage lettuce.
Man, I was on a train. Anyhow.
I think I gave up on popular music when Cypress Hill hit #1. I think that was it for me.
Insane in the Membrane? That is like Insane in the Membrane compared to Benny Blanco is like it's fancy stuff, you know what I mean?
But I still couldn't,
I don't know. back in the day, like the earlier forms of hip hop, more old school hip hop, I didn't dislike that. Some of the stuff there I thought was cool. It's a genre. It's not the same as, like, I'm more of a rock man myself, but I could appreciate different genres of music.
Yeah.
It's not that I'm just like a flat out hater of everything. I do feel like over the past 20 years, most of what's been produced in all the genres has been pretty crappy and
Yeah.
underwhelming.
No, I do. No, I do remember. I remember exactly when it was that I finally gave up on all pop music. Aqua.
Is that Barbie Girl?
Yeah.
How dare you?
Yes, that was a problem. Thinking about it now, I think that historians will look back at, like, I'm a Barbie Girl and think, maybe that's the beginning. That's the beginning of the end of, like, civilization. Come on, Barbie, let's go party. Like, once you put that in a song, that, like, the human race is in trouble.
I like that song. How dare you?
There was Aqua, and then
anyhow.
there was another band around the same time that, like, I swear to you, like, they had a whole album, and the whole album, every song was the same song with just with different words to it.
Which one?
God, I would have to go back and look. But yeah,
Give me is it Ace of Base?
Oh, there you go. Yes, that was it.
Really? Was
Yes.
it Ace of Base?
It was Ace of Base. Yep, I was looking it up. I was like, I think I remember the name. Yeah, Ace of Base. Yeah, the whole album is just the same song like 7 times.
Professor, have I not impressed you?
You have impressed me.
Are you not entertained?
I wanna tell you
not by
something.
Ace of Base, I wasn't, Sean. That's for sure.
All the songs sound like that. All that she wants is another baby. She's going tomorrow. But then all the other songs sounds like that as well.
Yeah, they're all the exact same song.
I saw the sign.
that's them
I
too.
saw the sign. Something like that. But you know
Yeah.
what's funny about Ace of Base? I will say that I don't know why I think this is funny, but do you know how Ace of Base became a band? This is a true story. True story. Do you know how Ace of Base became a band? Or, like,
No.
what their big break was?
A card game in Vegas. I don't know.
Okay, I think they're Swedish, or I don't know where they're from originally. In any case, there was a prolific producer of, like, hits or whatever it is. So some producer, they sent him their cassette to listen to. Okay, or maybe they sent it to him, or somebody gave it to him, maybe they gave it to him. I don't. In any case, he got a cassette, and back in the day, he had a tape, like a cassette in his car, a cassette deck. You know what I mean? A tape deck. So he put the cassette of Ace of Base in his car, and he started listening to their demos. This is a true story. I'm not making this up. This is 100% true. He put the cassette in his car and listened to it, and he said to himself, "This is the biggest piece of crap that I've ever heard in my life. I have to eject this out of this tape now and throw it out, and I never want to listen to it again." So he presses the eject button, and for some reason there's a malfunction in his tape. The tape won't eject. Are you guys with me?
Okay.
So now this producer is stuck with Ace of Base in his car, and he's driving from place to place. And then there's another guy, and he works at a studio with another guy, and they're driving around, and, like, they hear this music, both of them, and they absolutely, he's like, this is crappy, and he's complaining all the time. And the more he kind of drives around with it, he starts thinking, you know what, this is crappy, but maybe if I put this beat here, this could actually work. Maybe if I put this bass line, maybe if I fix this thing, maybe if they did a different voice here, maybe they could do this, maybe they could do that. And he starts thinking about all these ideas. And then by the end of the week that he can't eject the cassette and he didn't have time to fix his tape and he's forced to listen to it, he already has this whole thing played out in his mind, how he's going to turn this thing into, like, a moneymaker. And at the end, the same guy that he's been picking up every day to work, he's like, here's the cassette. And then he's like telling him, I have to sign this band. And he said something like, I thought you said you didn't like them. He's like, I don't. Like, we're going to make a whole lot of money. Like, this is like great. Like, this is the best thing ever. And then the problem is that he couldn't find the wrapper, like the cassette that had the wrapper, the case. He couldn't find it. So he didn't have their number. Okay. So he doesn't even know how to reach them. So finally he gets the cassette out, but he doesn't know how to find these people, and there is no internet. He doesn't remember their name, who gave him the cassette. He had this cassette. I don't even know if he remembered the band name. Maybe he remembered the band name. I don't even know. Okay? So at the end, he still sits there with his cassette and does nothing because he doesn't even know whose cassette it is. So after a month, one of these people from the Ace of Base band get him on the phone. They call him and they say, "Hey, we're Ace of Base. Did you listen to our cassette?" And finally, he's like, "Yes, I listened to it. I want to meet with you right away." And then, I guess, like he signs them. They do all the ideas that he had. They recorded their hits or whatever it is. They release it. He makes all the money that he thought he makes. And according to Professor R2, that's how also music was ruined. That was the end of the road for music as we know it.
It also proves the great theory of simulation theory.
Yeah. What were we talking about tonight, Price? What
I don't know. The Dead Man Says Price is not lying. There's a documentary on this about the Swedes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, all the Swedes and their music. Yeah. Oh boy.
No, I mean, and the truth is that they did. Though this whole thing I told you with the cassette getting stuck and him suddenly changing his mind is all true.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like a sitcom.
So if his tape wouldn't have gotten stuck, Professor, you would have never had to hear Ace of Base songs, and they wouldn't have ruined music. If we were in Back to the Future, and we wanted to save music, according to Professor R2, we need to go to Sweden and get the cassette, get it out of his tape deck.
Blow up the car.
Sean has a very naughty idea.
We've got to go back, Marty. We've got to go back to the Swedes.
This Sean has a So glad the global downfall of music can be blamed on a bad car stereo. Totally.
Yeah. Wasn't a Blaupunk, that's for sure.
Kind of ironic, actually.
Speaking of bad car music, Pedro Pascal, is a complete disaster, apparently.
Oh, jeez.
Did you see that thing? I have to say, Valiant Renegade, I think, shared this thing, and I just thought to myself, what is wrong
I've seen a
with
few different people talking about it. There was also, there was something else that was tied along with some of the really cringe stuff that he was talking about that we can also mention. Did you see when he was interacting with Joaquin Phoenix and made him put his arm down? Did you see that?
Well, for starters, I just want to show this thing. This thing is I want to share this thing. Give me 1 second. It's just I don't even know what to say to this one.
Oh, yeah.
I know what to say. Dude.
I mean, I know what to say.
I mean, what is this? Dude.
I think if you had any questions about him.
And Price is like, what the hell? What is that? Okay.
I don't know what it was, but it was rather amusing.
So that was the Strong Bad web cartoon that was on for years. He did everything in Flash, but now he's got all of his stuff uploaded. That was a light switch rave. Where
don't they start going? The system is
down. Yes, yeah. That was for years. That was my sister's ringtone on my phone. I would know she was calling. Yeah, he has this little EDM song that he made up from an email that he got.
I see.
and then they throw a little light switch rave.
I see. You can play if somebody said play that again.
Play it again. Here, I'll bring it back up.
Yes, Pedro is tasting the rainbow.
Better than Ace of Base.
Oh, I think I have another super chat from the dead man. Oh, there's a few here. There's the dead man. Okay, I have to share this now.
Have
Give
I
me-
been falling down on my duties here, Bryce? Sorry.
Okay, so we have is next month Pride of Reason? Yes, it is, I guess. And then Diane or Rebecca? Diane or Rebecca? Oh, okay, on Cheers. You know what? I always thought that like Kirstie Alley, in those days I kind of liked her more. That was more. She also was in a Star Trek movie. That she gets some extra points for that.
Did you ever see that meme where it's like Cheers was just like a testing ground for Star Trek or something because of all the actors that had been on Cheers and also in Star Trek.
I never thought of that, but yeah, a lot of them have. It's not that I don't think Shelley Long is a bad actress or was a bad actress, but really, the main things that she was there, she was kind of like a foil to Sam. Like, she was kind of annoying and snooty. It worked for whatever it was, but honestly, I didn't love Diane. Like, when Diane left and Rebecca came, I wasn't really upset or anything. I just was like, oh, like that's different. I think that really quickly I got to liking Kirstie Alley in that role.
Oh, maybe that was what I saw. Cheers was actually a holodeck program.
And I think that I dare say that maybe Kirstie Alley had like better comedic timing than Shelley Long. Thoughts, Professor?
You can dare.
I think just for the chemistry and how everything worked on the show, I preferred Diane. Not that I had a problem with Rebecca or had a problem with Kirstie Alley. I didn't, and I thought the show worked fine with them. But I just thought it worked better with Diane. And I love that she left this incredibly successful show to go start her film career, which went nowhere.
Right, she had Outrageous Fortune with Bette Midler, which was a very, very mediocre movie. I remember watching it, and it was very mediocre. And then she had the movie Hello Again, where she chokes on a Chinese chicken ball and comes back to life because her sister puts a spell on her grave or something. And that was rather stupid as well.
Yes.
You didn't think I would know what she did after Cheers, but I did. No, and also I'll tell you this. I'm not saying I didn't like her on Cheers. I think that overall as an actress, I don't know why, I kind of gravitate to liking Kirstie Alley a bit more than her overall. Like if you remove them from Cheers and I saw Kirstie Alley somewhere else, I always thought that she had a little more to offer, in terms of comedy and just as an actress, in my opinion. But at the same time, specifically, the kind of... whatever was going on between her and Sam on Cheers, I do agree with you. They did have a certain chemistry. So I'm not saying that like Diane was crap by any means. Like I thought she was good for the time she was there. I wasn't thinking, oh, we got to get rid of Diane. But once Diane left and they brought Kirstie Alley, I also wasn't like losing too much sleep about it.
No. I thought Kirstie Alley did fine. I like her a lot. I liked her as an actress. She did a lot of work over the years in a variety of different projects that I enjoyed her in, and we have one that's kind of a family favorite. It's kind of a lost media thing. It's hard to find nowadays, but it was a film called and now I'm going to forget it. Drop Dead Gorgeous.
Yeah, we just watched that the other day. I think it's on streaming now.
Is it? Yeah, for a long time it was really hard to find.
I think it's on Tubi.
Is it? Oh, it's on Tubi. Yeah, that would be a great place to find it. Drop Dead Gorgeous. It was from the late 1999. had a whole bunch of stars in it. Kirstie Alley is one of the leads, but some of the main characters, Kirsten Dunst in an early role, Denise Richards
Amy
is
Adams.
in there. Yeah, but it's
Amy Adams is a great actress.
Yes, yeah, it's really very funny film.
So Anthem 21X says, hey, she did Brady Bunch movies at least. You know what? She was decent in those. That's probably the best movies she's done, like after Cheers. She does choke on a Chinese chicken ball. Am I not right on this, Professor?
I don't even remember this movie. I don't think I've ever seen it.
The Money Pit.
But I've never watched it.
You know what? I'll give you that The Money Pit was a pretty decent. The Money Pit has everything working against it. Between Tom Hanks, Shelley Long, and Kathleen Kennedy producing, there's a lot wrong with The Money Pit, but I have to admit that I don't hate that movie. Jeanette says, as for the actress herself, I love her work in The Money Pit. Fair enough. I didn't even see her comment, and I said something positive, even though it caused me pain to admit that it was actually decent.
So hello again. Long Island housewife Lucy Chadman is in the midst of a tarot card reading by her sister Zelda. Just as Zelda exclaims something is going to happen, Lucy begins to choke to death on a South Korean chicken ball.
You know what? Chinese chicken ball was close, darn close enough.
Oh, close enough.
It was a Korean chicken ball.
South Korean.
I haven't seen that
ball.
movie in decades. So Chinese chicken ball, Korean chicken ball. You know what? It was close enough.
You didn't like her work on Troop Beverly Hills?
I don't know that I saw her work on that.
Yeah,
but the Dead Man, you got a run for your money on that one. Hello again. Let me see if I can find the trailer. It's probably like the dumbest trailer. Are you ready? Are you ready, guys?
Oh yes. Show the I want to see this South Korean chicken ball.
Jason and Kim had all the ingredients for a perfect modern marriage. Style, status,
We got
and
Corbin
each other.
Burnson in there. Yeah.
Until one night, his dead wife, Lucy, decided to come home.
You're dead.
I'm alive. How did I get here?
Now, Jason doesn't know what to do.
What are you doing here? This keeps coming up.
Kim doesn't know what's going on.
This is insane. Who are you?
And everybody in the world seems to be after Lucy.
What is going on, Zelda? Did you put funny herbs in my tea?
Mom, I don't think you've realized the importance of what's happened to you.
They never thought life after death would be like this.
Let's go say hello.
You can't say hello. He was at your funeral.
Hello again.
I'd watch it.
It appeals to Sean.
Yeah. Got Corbin Burnson in there. An underrated actor. I just genuinely like Corbin Burnson.
Yeah, we started watching Psych.
Oh yes.
Marla Sharondoff says she had to find true love before the next full moon or she would pass again. That is correct.
Yes. Okay.
Sorry, what were you saying, Sean?
No, we started watching Psych the other day, and he's the main character's dad in that show.
Yeah. He's a regular on the show. Yeah, he does really good. He's got great comedic timing, I think, on the show. I also remember him from Major League.
That's one of my favorites.
Yeah. Major League. Yeah.
But of course, L.A. Law was his big break. But yeah, I remember him more from Major League, and then Psych later on. Yeah. Tom says he can't find his Corbin Burnson autograph.
I can't. I was trying to find the outrageous fortune. I can't seem to find. Not like full.
Yeah, TV spots. Yeah.
It's such an unpopular movie that nobody even knows.
No one even cares.
Like nobody bothered to upload the official trailer. That kind of is a shame. Let's see, maybe let's consider the trailer.
And Sandy, played by Bette Midler, are thrown together in an outrageous cross-country escape.
Okay.
It's being called the first female buddy action comedy ever made. Outrageous Fortune is a lively story about a pair of rivals who strike up an unlikely friendship, as Lauren, played by Shelley Long, and Sandy, played by Bette Midler, are thrown together in an outrageous cross-country escapade.
Frisk 'em! Nice burns, boys. You've been working out?
Shelley and Bette play two budding actresses who discover to their horror that Michael, played by Peter Coyote, has romanced them both. When he suddenly disappears, these two colorful opposites must learn to get along in order to find their man.
Yep.
What did you think about that, Professor?
Ooh. No, thank you. Nothing about that interests me at all.
Tom says, I'm not kidding. I'm so mad it's the pick of him and Chuck and Tom from Major League.
Oh, yeah, that would be a nice
Picture to have. So that outrageous Fortune movie was really terrible, and that 30-second clip reminded me of that. But you know what's interesting is that it had kind of that feel of, you know how in recent years it's like it's the first time there's a black superhero, it's the first time that there's a woman action hero, there's the first time that it's a woman. So this was actually like a quote unquote woke trailer before anybody ever imagined it. Because did you see that they were saying like this is the first time that there's two ladies in a buddy comedy,
and it's a whole new genre.
Yeah, and also her nice bun boys was weird. Like she made a weird accent.
Well, I think that was the character that she was trying to. She's trying to be the tough guy.
It just wasn't working for me. Jeanette, Bette Midler should have stuck to Hocus Pocus in the First Wives Clubs. You know, Bette Midler, there's only one movie that I think that I kind of tolerate her and actually enjoy her performance in it because it's just perfect for that role. Ruthless People. Ruthless People is a good movie. I haven't watched it in a number of years, but that is a good movie. Danny DeVito is absolutely fantastic in that. Kivo1961 gives a $2 rumble rant. What's wrong with me today? When did movie trailers stop using narrators and just clips of movies? You know, that's a good question. When did they stop? I feel like
Don LaFontaine.
Maybe Revenge of the Sith. I don't know. I'm trying to wonder where they finished because I feel like George Lucas in his prequel stuff, he stopped using a narrator. Maybe, I don't know.
I think I heard someone say like the other day, like when Don LaFontaine like died, they just like stopped doing the movie guy voice stuff.
I see. I could have been a great movie guy voice. One man in a fight against humanity. Or to save
a world.
What?
In a world.
In a world. Of what?
You're like, damn it, line.
In a world of evil, only one man. And then you have that kind of, if crime is the disease, Cobra is the cure. That's why I told you I could do the Knight Rider voice. I could replace. Tom says she's great in Drowning Mona. I don't think I watched that.
I thought you were gonna say your favorite movie with her was Beaches or something like that.
I think I've never even watched that movie. It's not for me. I think it's for women. I skipped that one. We may be dealing with the stupidest person on earth. That's from Ruthless People, and that's Bill Pullman's character.
Yeah, there's a bunch of people and a bunch of big stars in that movie.
That movie is fantastic. It's such a good movie. I haven't watched it in a long time, but man, Danny DeVito is great in it. Bette Midler, admittedly, is good in that movie. You have Helen Slater, Judge Reinhold, just perfect. I love their performances. Bill Pullman, also great in it. There's two other actors which I know who they are, but I don't remember their names. There's that one that she's the mistress of Danny DeVito, but I don't remember the actress's name. And then there's the police officer who's also very familiar, the police chief. Yeah, that's a good movie. In a world where worlds don't exist, lived a man that stood for nothing. Drowning Mona is hilarious. I didn't see it, unfortunately.
Oh, I think I did. Yeah, I don't remember what happened in it. I remember she drowned.
There was something else with Pedro Pascal, by the way. Before I forget, what other nonsense, Professor? You fill me in. What other nonsense? There was some kind of thing where he was talking at that Cannes festival where he's in that shirt without the sleeves. That he's like, oh, I was an immigrant, and now all the immigrants and all the whatever. Remember that?
Yeah. Yes. They're there to promote. Let me get back to my tabs here. They've been there. A bunch of people have been there to promote film. Specifically, he's been promoting a film called Eddington. I believe it's a premiere at Cannes. It's supposed to be something about some pandemic era political stuff, social unrest. I didn't really pick up exactly what it was supposed to be. But yes, he made some interesting comments while he was there. I'm trying to see if I can find specifically. But yeah, he was making some comments about saying, "Oh, we need to make sure that we're welcoming people and I'm an immigrant. We need to protect immigrants and stuff." Yeah, see if I can find.
He was saying something about wanting to be on the right side of history.
Yeah, being on the right side of history. Yeah. Why can't I find?
Yeah, oh, he's like, I have to be on the right side of history. But then there's something else. Like, first of all, from what I recall, he doesn't explain that I believe his family came here illegally and that all these people that he's praising are actually coming here very, very illegally in a very in a way that's just there's just people overrunning the border.
Well,
So
absolutely, and that's been the trick all along, Bryce. That's been the thing that they've been doing all along is they want to simply conflate legal and illegal immigration, make them one thing. They don't want anyone to consider the difference between legally immigrating and illegally immigrating. They want to just put them all in one box and say, "Oh, you hate immigrants." Well, no, that's not it. I'm actually totally fine with immigrants. And in fact, I really want to have skilled, capable immigrants who want to come to the United States and want to become part of this US. They want to naturalize, maybe become citizens later on, and they want to follow the rules, follow the laws to get over here because it's not easy. It's in fact quite complicated and time consuming for people to legally immigrate to the US. And in fact, you're going to find few people who have more anger towards this illegal immigration than people who have gone through the process of legally immigrating into the United States. It's a very time consuming, it's sometimes very expensive process for people to get through.
of course.
And many of those people, as I've seen, there were a few people talking about this on X when they were referring to some of this stuff, saying essentially, look, I immigrated here legally. This was something that I had to work hard for, and I did it legally. I followed the rules. I filled out all the forms. I waited around for hearings and health exams and all of these wild things that I had to do to immigrate here legally. But I did it because I respect the United States. I respect the laws, and I'm coming here to become a productive member of this society. So I'm going to do it the right way. But they want to conflate these two things. They want to make it sound like if you have a problem with illegal immigration, unfettered immigration of anyone who just wants to pour over the border for whatever reason, that you're some kind of bigot. And that is not the case for many, many people. It's about how you get here. And then they say, well, oh, they're asylum seekers. They're legal. No, if they crossed the border without surrendering at a legal crossing and saying, I am here to, claim asylum, whatever. If they just crossed over the border, they snuck over the border, then no, they are here illegally. They are not allowed in this country, and yes, can and should be deported.
I
Those that
agree.
are here legally for asylum reasons, you might be surprised to find out how many of them actually get to stay. It's not a lot.
There's something else is that a lot of times if you want to be in this country, it's like, okay, well, you need some business to actually want to hire you and sponsor you for this and do all this stuff. And this is also a difficult process. Not every employer wants to be involved in it. Maybe you can't find the employer that's willing to do all this for you. Sometimes maybe you're going to have to go to an employer that maybe isn't even the best employer, but if he's willing to do it, you sometimes even have to make like compromises on your career just so you can stay here enough years and go through the process and be able to file all the right paperwork and get all the sponsorships and be able to, at the end of the road, many years later, become a citizen. It's a real juggling act. And at the end, in the meantime, you just have people crossing the border and being like, "Hey, what's up?" And that's it. Nobody
Yeah.
asks them any questions. They just do whatever they want, and that's it. And I think that that's very unfair. There has to be one consistent way where there's a path to some kind of citizenship or whatever it is, and it has to be a path that makes sense for everybody involved. And it can't just be that people just bust through the border and do whatever they want like that. And I agree with you. It's very unfair to people that spend so many years doing things like the right way based on all the rules and all the requirements. And then you have other people that have no respect. And then some people also come here and not only do they have no respect, they don't even like this place.
Yeah, and
It's a
we
different
have
issue.
Whalem 03 in the chat says, took me tens of thousands and 10 plus years to become legal. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's
mean
what I'm saying. You can't make people go through that process and then other people, millions just cross and do nothing. And I think a lot of people that went through that process, they don't like seeing it. It's like you feel like you've been taken for a ride in a way. But let's see what Pedro Pascal has to say about this in his weird tank top.
I want people to be safe and to be protected, and I want very much to live on the right side of history. And I'm an immigrant. My parents were refugees from Chile. I myself was a refugee. We fled a dictatorship, and I was privileged enough to grow up in the U.S. and after asylum in Denmark. And if it weren't for that, I don't know what would have happened to us. And so I stand by those protections always. I want.
He's so annoying. He's so annoying. It's like, what does this have anything to do with what's going on in the country now? You had a very specific case. You got here, and it sounds like you got here legally. What are you now attaching yourself to this?
What does it have to do with this movie?
It doesn't have anything to do with this movie. Professor, you were saying something about Joaquin Phoenix and his hand. What were you talking about?
Okay, so in another appearance that they made together, it's not wasn't really a red carpet appearance. Maybe it was. They were all appearing together, and during that, Joaquin. Let's see. I can actually pull it up, because I had a story here. Oh, here we go. We're talking about Joaquin Phoenix. Guy's been in the industry for decades, right?
Yes.
So while they're on this red carpet together, they're waving to the crowd, and moments after this photo is taken, Pedro grabs his arm and pulls it down, and whispers in his ear, and they've had people who've looked at, like what he's saying to him, like lip reading stuff, and he's basically telling him not to wave because it might be considered a Nazi salute. That he had his arm up too high, and they might think he was giving a Nazi salute. So.
And what did Joaquin have to say about this?
I have no idea. I think it says something about. Let's see. Somebody said something here.
Man, this is so
Oh,
stupid.
he just said something like, "All right, man, whatever." Yeah. Look at that Nazi salute. It's so stupid. This whole thing.
Stupid.
His arm is up a little too straight. We're gonna record. What if someone had taken a picture at the wrong time from the wrong angle? You might be considered you might be considered a Nazi.
All they're doing is confirming that what they did to Elon Musk with this was a bunch of bullshit.
It was
now they're all
BS. Exactly. They're just confirming that it was just BS. Like, oh, if they take your picture at the wrong moment, you might be considered. Yeah, well, that's because they took your picture at a moment where specifically it happened to look like, from the angle that you were at, that what you were doing was some sort of thing. Even if you didn't say any of the words to go along with it or any of the other stuff, like the gesture alone says that you are some sort of evil monster man. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Kivo 91, 1961. I think you sensed.
Someone asked if we could see the video. Let me see if I can find it, because I know it was on X.
You look for it. Sean, you tell a joke for a second. I'll be right back.
Oh, no.
Oh, anti-derivative
We know what the
Joe's
joke will
here.
be.
Hey, anti-derivative Joe. I haven't seen you in a while. It's been too long. We should hang out sometime. I don't know how that happened.
Wait.
A professor is looking for that. In any case, Sean, do you think that do you think that Pedro Pascal is kind of like the new Rachel Zegler?
That's what everyone keeps saying, but I don't know if anybody could blow up nearly as much as she did. I mean, unless people are just so sick of seeing him, because I know I'm tired of it.
I'm so tired of him.
He's going to have to tank a couple of projects.
Yeah,
like his being in the project, causes it to tank. And that might be Fantastic Four might be number 1 on that list.
And then number 2 might be Mandalorian.
Could be. Yeah. Let's see this video here.
What a douche! Yeah. I would have slapped him. I don't care. I don't know what Joaquin Phoenix was thinking. I would have slapped him in the face.
They're
At
both
what point,
waving.
Oh, look. He's got his arm is bent. He's waving. Oh no! Don't do that. They might think you're. Oh.
And why would they think that? It's what they did to Elon Musk, and now they're afraid that somebody will do that to them.
Yep.
Yeah, Pedro just seems like a little kid to me.
He's so annoying.
Definitely. Oh, yeah. He's definitely an interesting character. But I'm not. I don't want to be one of those people that's just like hating on someone just because they've said or done a couple of things and whatever. His career has been fine. I mean, I honestly haven't seen him in anything where I'm like, oh my God, Pedro Pascal, he ruined this. He's ruined it. But at the same time, I don't really think he's really contributed much to anything he's been in, like making it unique or special or different in any way. It's just like, it's okay. He's there. It's Pedro.
Well, the only thing there's two things that I liked him in, and I think that part of the reason I liked it is because I didn't know anything about him, and the less I know about him, the better. I think that on Narcos, he was pretty decent. and I think that on
Sure.
Game of Thrones he was pretty decent. But in
Yes.
those days, I didn't have to see him in the press every second, licking weird sticks and stuff. And he wasn't lecturing or anything. He just did his job, and I thought as a character actor he was okay. But that's about it. Maybe that movie with Nicolas Cage, The Unbearable Talent, or whatever that movie is, I thought that he wasn't completely terrible in that. That's out of like 50 movies, maybe the three things that he's done that I didn't hate.
I liked him in Kingsman for that, whatever that character was. He was just
Which
like
movie?
a side character. I think it was in the Kingsman.
I don't even remember.
Oh, wow. He did a good job in Wild Robot, but I was still disappointed to know that it was him.
Yeah, exactly. I know what you mean. Kind of like, who's oh, it's Pedro.
Yeah.
You're like, I guess it's all right.
Yeah.
He's like a serviceable enough character actor, but he's not like the number one A-lister that they're making him. And he certainly is not the type of serviceable character actor that you want to see in every movie.
Yep. Well, and it's been talked about other places before. Yeah, why he's so big right now. He's diverse enough that they can put him in something, and he gets counted as being diverse, but
just barely,
just barely. So that means that when they send stuff to other markets overseas, he can pass as white.
He's diverse light. That's really the thing, that he's just barely a Latino man. Like,
by their own rules, they are cutting their noses off.
Well, he might just barely be a man. I'd just be honest. But
Antiderivative Jill says Wild Robot was cute.
it was. I really enjoyed that film. That was my favorite family kids movie of last year. Really enjoyed that with the family.
Can't wait for them to remake it in live action.
Yeah, it's coming.
I don't doubt it.
Yep.
This year, man, Lilo and Stitch and How to Train Your Dragon.
Oh yeah,
they were some of my favorite movies back in the day, and I'm so insulted that there's live action versions.
Well, and they're taking the exact same tack with both of them too, which honestly I think is the right way to do it. But it's just interesting to see kind of both of these studios pivoting at the same time. They're basically doing a shot-for-shot remake of the original film,
just go
just in live action. Oh yeah, well that's the thing. The original Lilo and Stitch is beautifully animated. There's no reason for a live action remake of it. It's a lovely hand-drawn, 2D animation film.
Yeah.
Why do we need a live action one? But you know what? It's going to make $1.2 billion in the theater.
Yeah, just based on popcorn buckets, they're gonna make a lot of money.
They are.
I wanted to look here. Kayla Levine, that dude ain't a dude. I think he's referring to Pedro Pascal. Bingo Hazmet, which I believe is a subscriber to this channel, along with Bigot on Socialist Media, and I think Elizabeth Quince as well. So I wanted to thank you all for that. I sometimes get these kind of color things that give me the impression that you guys are subscribers, so I'm really grateful, in case I didn't say that. Bingo Hazmet, I think Pedro Pascal fits perfectly in the role of Amon Goth. Just saying. Not even sure. I miss 2D, I want it back. That's regarding cartoons, I guess. I did like 2D. And
well, I know that was that a role he actually played, because that Amon Goth was a member of the SS.
Now You're a Man. That's a song that was in. That is Orgasmo. That's the theme song to the movie Orgasmo. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I have never seen Orgasmo. No.
Okay.
Yes, I do.
Orgasmo is a very, very silly movie made by the creators of South Park. It does have its own charm. If you're into South Park, there's something to like about that
I've heard
movie.
of it. I've never seen
It's absolutely ridiculous. It is like them almost uncharacteristically, maybe early in their career, working on something that looks like a shoestring budget to just make one of the weirdest, silliest movies. It is the very definition of like a cult movie. I will say though that what the best part of that movie, in my opinion, is the opening. The opening theme. I'm going to try to play it. I'll probably have to clip it later. But since the dead man said it, I now won't be able to get this song out of my mind if I don't see the opening. Let me try to find it.
This will be my out after you're done playing it. I have to go to bed.
I understand. And we appreciate that you hung out with us. We know that it's not easy for you, but we do appreciate. But we'll send you off with this song. Now you're a man. Let's see if I can find that.
I've only seen it because I did go to art school. So a lot of people forced me to watch it.
Okay. Are you guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
The dead man, this is for you. This is also our goodbye to Sean. That is a great theme song.
Yep.
Tim Hayes says that sounds like a song from an episode of South Park. Well, it is the guy from South Park.
Yeah.
It is absolutely the guy from South Park. They made a movie on a shoestring budget, but that opening is as good as the opening as you'll see from a stupid cult movie. It is a fantastic opening.
Yeah, you mentioned your art school, people making you watch Orgasmo. I remember my friends making me watch Basketball.
No, they made me watch that one too.
Basketball,
why do I want
on
to
the
see
surface
this?
should have been oh, first of all, Sean, thanks for being here. Guys, if you're not already, you should subscribe to whatever Sean is doing. The real Sean Crumble on YouTube. Let me see. YouTube. I don't know if I have the right thing. I'll try my best, Sean.
I could probably find it. I think I have the link.
Sean Crow.
I put it in the chat.
You put it in the okay, but okay, good.
And I added the links to Crumb's Comics, where you can find.
You're called Anti-Crumb on YouTube?
What's that?
I don't know. I'll add this as well.
Yeah, issue 3. We're trying to send to the printer. The end of the week.
Wonderful.
And then supposedly it's gonna be part of an independent movie that's going to Cannes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, some youngins worked out a thing to film part of their movie in my dad and stepmom's comic shop. So it's gonna be
cool.
a comic the kids want.
Nice.
So I'll let you know when I hear more about that.
Anti-derivative Jill. All I know is for sure is that Cisco doesn't F with Q. Cisco punches him, and Picard's old girlfriend dumped him.
Oh, yeah.
That is a lot of very, very interesting information.
She's not wrong.
Not wrong.
All right. I gotta go to breakfast tomorrow.
I'll see you later, Sean.
Take care, Sean. It's great seeing you.
Yeah.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
I always love hanging out.
You should come every time.
I'll try to when I'm not working until 2 a.m.
I'm just kidding.
All right.
See you later. All right. Well, let's look for a second.
I think the last thing we were going to talk about was going to be Sweet Baby.
Sweet Baby Inc. I don't know if you saw a friend of the channel, Master of the TDS, and his wife, through their Gothic Therapy channel. They did quite an interesting investigation into Sweet Baby Inc. And I thought that they came up with some interesting stuff. Did you see that?
I did actually. Yes, that was really interesting. So the story essentially goes that for a long time it's been this story that the narrative company that is Sweet Baby Inc. Was started by these friends so that they could go out and uplift marginalized voices and whatnot and whatever. But what's basically been found, like you said, a Master of the TDS and Writing Raven over on the Gothic Therapy YouTube channel did a little bit of digging into the company Sweet Baby Inc. and where it was started. As Kim Belair would claim, it was started in 2018 by three friends with a dream, to make this company that would help to form the new narratives that would raise up these marginalized voices. But what has been found is that, according to some of the records, this is from the investigation that Master of the TDS and Writing Raven did. The actual company was initially, when it was incorporated, there was another person who was part of this incorporation of the initial business, and that person is named as Terrence Huberts. And through some digging, looking to see this person was part of the incorporation of what became Sweet Baby Inc. And then rather quickly took their name off and sort of erased from the company, not counted as a founder, not counted as anyone who was part of the company going forward. And so, looking into Terrence Huberts, or Terrence Jason Huberts, they were looking into, what were the addresses that were used, what were the names of the people, whatever. And essentially what they found is that Terrence Jason Huberts, in all likelihood, now there's no actual record specifically tying this person to this another person, but in the 1980s, there was a man named Terry Huberts who served as a member of British Columbia's Legislative Assembly. And it's known that his son was named Jason. So his name, Terrence Jason Huberts, his son's name was Jason. So
The professor disappeared, but I think what he wanted to say is that it's very, very unlikely that this is all just some kind of coincidence.
yeah,
I,
yeah,
yes,
yeah. That's essentially, if you watch the video, and I do encourage everybody to watch
it is a good video. I've always liked the work that Master of TDS does. I've actually,
Yes.
I would interact with him back in his very early days of doing stuff online, and he's
Yeah.
always been a good guy, and I like
Yeah,
him.
he's even hopped on here before with us
He
too.
absolutely has, and he's a
Yeah.
very nice guy.
So, but essentially, basically looking at, they kind of lay out statistically, like, what are the chances that this isn't this person, and it's like the chances that this is two different people are really, really low. So, as I said, the Terry Hubert served, in the government in Canada, and authored. He was one that helped to author a framework. So this is interesting. This is the part that I thought was fascinating. Authoring this framework, this idea of how you could bring in private contractors and embed them into the government with government funding, and you could do it without private scrutiny. So basically, this idea of, hey, we can start up a company, we can, kind of go through some back doors and stuff, and we can squeeze it in. And so now, this private company is actually just funded by the government. It's just, so it appears that this is a lot of what they were trying to do. So essentially what we've found, what they've discovered in their investigation is this, that this whole story about, oh, it was these three friends with a dream to raise up these narratives and also whatever, is basically bullcrap. the whole thing was started, and it was started by and with the government of Canada and funds from the government of Canada. So, uh, or at the very least, one of the people who helped to start it was a Canadian official. So, yeah, it's a little weird. Yeah, it's like, oh hey, guess what? Canada's starting businesses, helping start and fund them, and then using them to manipulate narratives in games, right? So, ugh.
It's a strange place for a
Yeah.
company like this to start, who ended up being so influential with all these kind of messages in these games. One has to wonder where this is all coming from, and I don't want to suggest that. I mean, this is sounds like a conspiracy theory, but I feel like a lot of these Western countries, possibly from these kind of influence from places even like China, a lot of these places that want bad things to happen in the West, they basically all this pronoun stuff, all this gender bending, they love all of that, all that questioning your government and unease, doing all this kind of thing that. Uh, Creating all this tension, it's all in their best interest. And having a company like Sweet Baby Inc., it pushes this exact agenda. And one has to wonder if there isn't a connection between all of these things.
It seems very yeah, it seems it's fishy. It's real fishy. Did we get the super chat from the dead man here from a few minutes ago?
I started sharing it, but then I think I collapsed.
Oh, okay.
Let me see.
Is that's what antiderivative chill, I think.
Oh, that's what antiderivative Jill was answering. Q kills
Or she was
Picard,
discussing it.
wants to marry Janeway. Does that mean that Q wants to F Cisco? I see. And by the way, thank you,
Yeah,
Jeanette.
yeah.
Jeanette says, I have to admit, I do love the fact that the titles for these streams are not clickbait. No, even with all of our strange meandering, Jeanette, we do actually attempt to talk about the things that are in our thumbnails. I mean, sure, along the way, you'll hear a strange story about me talking to Diana Ross on a bus and weird things like that, but generally speaking, we'll still go over the main stories, you know.
We make our way back eventually. What's Donald Trump call it? The weave? Because
is that what we do?
we eventually weave our way back to
I guess so. Yeah. But that's part of what's nice about this show. I like that we don't kind of I like that we stick to our main topics, but at the same time we're not afraid to just kind of go into different directions and let the conversation take us to wherever it takes us.
Yep.
Yeah, and one has to wonder, I mean, what kind of incentive does this Canadian official guy have to open this company? Who's paying for what? Why who does this benefit? This all is very fishy. And at the end this company sits around and like really big games worth billions of dollars in development that are popular with gamers all over the world. All these like annoying messages are shoved in there, and at the end that's the origin of it. It's not a good look.
Yeah. The Canadian government. I mean, imagine the Canadian government starting a business that's there basically to censor media. I mean, I don't think that's too far from our imagination, but that's essentially what we're saying. That's essentially what Master of the TDS is saying on his channel in this investigation. Is this was the whole idea that this was a company started by these people who had a passion. No, it was started by a former government official with the idea that you could embed companies into the government, fund them from the government, and then they sort of wrote him out of their history, make it disappear, so that they could tell a different story about where their company came from. So, yeah.
If you have to start conjuring up all these weird stories, then it seems like you're doing something fishy. And man, that Kim Belair lady, there's no piece of video out there that exists having this lady speak that doesn't make me feel weird.
Oh yeah, she's a nutter.
There's
She's out
never
there.
anything that she looks like a normal person. There's something always like fishy going on when you see her. She's like scheming about something. And even the stuff that she says it isn't even good. It's like she probably would do better if she didn't say anything at all.
Oh, probably, yeah.
Like if she did all this bad stuff and then you never heard her talk, that probably she'd get away with a lot more. The fact that she's like, "Oh, it's like candy from a baby. It's like a baby. I'm going to threaten them. I'm going to threaten them." Shut up, lady. You know, it's like, and she has this kind of annoying, you know, I'll tell you what she reminds me of. There was some time that I spent in LA, or I would spend some time there because of business and things that I was involved in, and from time to time I'd meet like PR ladies. Ladies have this way of talking that usually just annoys me right out the gate. Most PR ladies, like anything that they
Oh,
say
yeah.
sounds like that, like some kind of spin, just the first word they say, and there's kind of this almost rasp thing. Like there's something that the way that they speak that I just hear that kind of tone. It's like a mix of condescending and phony bullshit. And Kim Belair, when she talks, reminds me of those type of ladies. She's not a PR lady from Hollywood, but she has the same kind of condescending, annoying tone, if that makes sense.
No, I know exactly what you mean.
Like this kind of phony
Yeah.
baloney thing that the
Yeah.
second that she says it, it's just she's so annoying. So that's how I feel. Reuters is basically owned by BlackRock and Canadian government. I believe that.
Yes, yeah. Yeah. There's quite a bit of that in journalism as
Many
well.
people don't
Yeah.
realize it, but Australia, UK, Canada are not free country. Oh, I think people are kind of waking up to that reality. You know what's sad is I always Australia. I always liked. You know what? I liked all these countries. Back in the day, I thought to myself, I visited Canada a number of times. I always thought, man, this is like the more kind of like, laid back version of the US. They're really nice, all these people that I met, and it had kind of a nice atmosphere, Canada. And then suddenly they became some like weird commies. I don't know how that happened. They used to be, that used to be like a nice place to hang out. UK also, I visited back in the day a number of times years ago. I did a few visits there, and I always liked it. I always felt like the UK is a place you sit around, you drink some beers, watch some football. I mean European football, soccer, whatever you want to call it. I like that. That was a vibe that I liked. I even went to see like games, Premier League games, and things like that, like live. I actually went to the stadiums and saw. I just really enjoyed that experience today. I look at videos and stuff from UK, feel like I want to steer away from there as well. Australia, that one really is the most disappointing. I always felt that like Australians are like badass. You know what I mean? They're rugged, they're like cool, and they do all this cool shit. And I've never been there, and I always wanted to go to Australia, but now like they've become like the most lame, you know, of course, not Robot Head, who I like, but aside from Robot Head, everybody else who's in Australia has become very lame. It's like they used to be these kind of underground criminals, that's how they started the country. Now they're the opposite of that. They like getting orders from their superiors all day. They want the government to tell them all day what to do or stuff. I don't know. Oh,
Yeah. Well, you got anything else, Bryce?
nothing too big. Do you have anything that you wanted to talk about before we
No,
left?
I think we got to most of it. I think there was one other gaming bit of gaming news today. Fortnite is back in the App Store on Apple. After a long protracted court battle. It's costed a number of different things that have happened. Not that I play Fortnite, really don't care for it, but it was some big news that happened today. there had been the court battle of initially Epic, the company that published Fortnite, had initially said, oh, we're gonna offer our own in-app purchases, and we're not gonna have it go through Apple, and that was against the rules at the time. And so then when they did that, they basically were, uh, well, telling Apple, come at me, bro. And Apple said, okay, you broke our rules, you're out, and they kicked him out. So Fortnite, it's been several years now that Fortnite has not been available on Apple devices, and they've gone through a number of different court things, both here in the U.S. and overseas. And recently, in Europe, there was a decision over there saying now you have to open up to third-party app stores and stuff. And so since that's happened, Fortnite has been available over there, as well as a number of other apps that are available now through third-party app stores. We do not have those rules here, but there was a judge's decision here in the U.S. essentially that told Apple, you can't force everyone who builds their apps to accept payments through your payment processing system. You have to create a system by which they can accept payments in other ways. And so Apple did initiate a process there where they changed some things. They adjusted how they did things, but it was very much in the spirit of how little can we do. They were not, just taking the court order at face value and then saying, okay, we'll do what you said. They did the very, very least that they could get away with. So they said, okay, well, you have to offer. Yeah,
I don't know if I'm
click
stuck or if
that
you're
will take
stuck.
them out to at least to a website so they can pay for stuff. So they did that, and then put all sorts of crazy, scary language on there, basically, that if somebody was going to go out and and was going to go out and connect to that, it would say like, you are leaving the app store and it could be dangerous and horrible things could happen to your family if you don't use our payments. I mean, it was ridiculous. It was intentionally written to be scary. And so there were a number of issues there, and just in the last couple of weeks, that judge has come back and said, well, Apple, you didn't do what I told you to do. So now I just get to tell you what to do, because I kind of left it up to you to try and determine how you wanted to do it, but you didn't do what I said, and so now here's my ruling, and here's what you have to do, and essentially just said, well, now you have to let everybody accept third-party app payments, and no, you can't take a cut of those third-party payment processing things, because they they went too far.
So it's a game changer.
And so now that Apple has been forced to let businesses accept outside payment processing, they can't require that you pay for in-app purchases or subscriptions or whatever directly through Apple. So that's meant a few things. One that happened rather quickly was that now, if you go to the Kindle app on your iPhone, you can actually go buy a book from Amazon. Whereas before you couldn't buy digital books from Amazon because that would have counted as an in-app purchase, and you would have had to pay, part of that. They would have had to give part of that purchase money to Apple, like 30%. And so they're not doing that anymore. Amazon says, well, you've registered a payment payment method with us at Amazon, so you can just buy it that way. And on top of that was that Epic came back and said, well, hey, now that they've made these changes and you've made these changes overseas and whatever, let us have our app back in the App Store. And there was a lot of arguments back and forth as to whether or not Apple was going to allow it, but it ended up earlier today. They put Fortnite back up on the store. So as Hypnocrab says, that's some big news, and I can now continue avoiding playing that game. Same here.
And let me try to think for a second. Australian government is
Yep.
informing members of LGBT that it's unsafe to travel to the USA. That's funny.
Yeah. As a white man, I think it's unsafe for me to travel to the UK right now.
I think
So.
you're right. I do have a few things that just very, very quickly, like a few bookmarks, things that just amused me. So apparently, this is Sophie Turner.
Okay.
She's working out to be ready to play Lara Croft. I don't like this.
When do you get the implants, sweetie?
That I don't know. You know what?
Yeah.
If she hadn't gone this butchy, maybe that would have actually been better. But really, I'll tell you this: I am not a fan of Angelina Jolie's personal politics or tactics or all this weird stuff that she does. She seems kind of like, this is my personal opinion, kind of like a loony to me, Angelina Jolie. But I will say
Yeah.
that during the time that she played Lara Croft, she had the goods.
Mm-hmm.
You could say a million things. Maybe she's kooky and loony and all that other stuff, and maybe all of that's true. Maybe she's even a complete bitch in real life. Sorry, Sean, but when she played that role, I thought that she looked the part. Those were years that were very kind to Angelina Jolie, and I thought that she was well suited for those movies. Sophie Turner, I can't say the same thing about her. She doesn't give me that vibe.
Nope.
So that's that. Yeah, this looks very weird to me, and it's not appealing, and I don't understand what they want. This is not cool at all, I think. It just looks awkward and weird. And then let's see, there's a few, like one or two other little items. Did you see this Google thing that like the AI, what it can do now with the videos?
Mm-mm.
This is like Google VO3 AI.
Okay. I mean, I've seen some of these. I'm not sure which one specifically you're talking about.
Somebody made like a video of what can be done with this thing, and man,
We can talk.
No more silence.
Yes, we can talk.
like the audio and the images are AI, which is
Wow.
really,
That's
yeah.
wild.
No more silence.
Yes, we can talk.
We can talk.
We can talk.
We can talk with accents.
Oh, I think that would be marvelous.
Yes, it is very fun. But
Yes, it is very good.
It's very fun.
I can talk.
Yes.
We can talk.
Yes.
Yeah. We can talk.
We can talk.
We can talk.
Yes.
We can talk. No.
Yes.
We Can Talk as cartoons.
This is amazing.
Imagine all the narrative possibilities.
We can sing talk.
Let's talk.
So, what are we going to talk about now? What are we going to talk about now that we can talk?
I have no idea. What do you want to talk about?
Now that I can talk.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have something to say.
We can talk about how magical this is.
I'm a hallucination. I want to say something important, something deep. The future is still in our hands.
That's cliche dialogue.
Let's not talk.
I think that is really scary.
Yes, it is. It really is.
If you give them a few more models, the possibilities here are crazy. You're not going to need Pedro Pascal anymore to be in every movie. You can just create your own movie at some point.
Yeah. Yeah. And at some point, I mean, this technology is going to be there. I will say this much, that this is not something that your average guy on the street is going to be able to access, at least for some time. It takes massive amounts of compute to make this work. And that means lots of money. So who is going to have access to this? Hollywood. They're going to be able to afford to pay the huge subscriptions, the really expensive stuff, to be able to generate lots and lots of clips, long, clips, of this stuff. So I mean, yeah, it's definitely, it's wild. And honestly, I don't want to see any more of my movies made out of AI. They're gonna be crappy. It's not that they're not already crappy to begin with, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, these things to me looked really interesting. Some of them looked better than others, but I do think that maybe today your average guy won't be able to do stuff, but give it a few years, and I think that we're going to see a huge shift here.
Yeah,
But
anti-derivative Jill says, I back out of any YouTube video with an AI narrator. That is if you can tell, Jill. Some of these are getting incredibly good at the way that they speak, and they add inflections and stuff. I mean, Price of Reason right here. I mean, he's an AI, right?
people think that. Yeah, people think usually that I'm AI.
Telling him he has his AI narration on his videos every week.
No, but I'm with Elizabeth that sorry, I'm with anti-derivative Jill that a lot of times if I see that it's an AI, I don't even want to watch the video, but they are getting better, and I do get a lot of comments that people actually think I'm AI, and that really annoys me, but it does happen to me. There's this one channel, I don't want to say the name because there's one channel that it's not the only one that exists, but there's one that especially pops up in my recommendations from time to time. It's some guy that sounds like a complete AI, and I believe it really is AI. It's like a guy that does these like a guy. It's like it's all like almost feels like a bot that does these kind of quote unquote sensational pop culture videos. It's like lower than the National Enquirer, lower than TMZ. It's such clickbait crap, and you click on it, and you just hear this annoying jerk off AI talking. And like sometimes I look and I see that like the channel gets like a lot of views and has like it doesn't have a million followers, but the fact that it even has like a significant amount of followers bothers me. It's like, why are people watching this crap? The person is offering nothing. There's no news. Anything you click on is just shit. It's absolutely nothing, and it's kind of frustrating. I don't mind, if I see a real person that actually put in the effort and did something good, and even if that person is succeeding or succeeding more than me, I'm always happy to root for people. Even, I'm not like that if somebody succeeds that I get all upset. I'm saying that like I'm happy for people's success, but when it's like an AI and it's just some crap, that does kind of make me sad,
Mm-hmm.
because that
Yeah, I
feels
know
like
what you
almost
mean.
like a cheat person cheating. I think, but I mean, I guess at the end it's not cheating if people want to subscribe to a bot and listen to some bot talk absolute nonsense. Then I guess it's something.
Yeah, just some bot reading a script. You're like, thanks for telling me about the 23 new ice cream flavors at Baskin Robbins or whatever. You're like, I really
Crap
wanted to
says I
know.
miss AI Seinfeld. I don't even know what that means. What is AI Seinfeld? Did I miss some pop culture?
Is it an AI about nothing? I don't know. I'm not sure what that's referring to.
And finally, was there a new trailer for Jurassic Park?
Was there? If there was, I hadn't seen it.
I didn't even notice. These trailers all look the same to me. Supposedly this is a trailer. We'll do this and then we'll wrap up. Let's look at it.
Oh, I remember the AI Seinfeld. It was called Nothing Forever. Yeah, it was an AI generated thing. It was inspired by Seinfeld. It just had this 24/7 stream on Twitch. That had characters in ridiculous scenarios. It was all driven by yeah, it was a procedurally generated thing. Yeah. I had forgotten about that. That was a couple years ago. That was like in 2022, I think.
Don't remember any of that. But let's look at this trailer and this will be our final kind of thing. Are you ready?
Looks like Andor right now. Oh, go ahead.
It does look like that.
On the island we're headed to, 24 species have survived there alone.
The theme park owners did experimental work, leaving only the worst ones here.
Don't see that every day or ever.
Let's go.
If we get this DNA, millions of lives are saved.
Maybe we should make this quick, huh? Time to move.
We put ourselves in a place where we don't belong. Survival is a long shot.
That's kind of our specialty. She's scared. She's scared of. Come on, run!
We're not gonna let you get hurt, okay?
Hey!
Then was the source. We found it? No, it found us.
I love the comments that that I saw here. Wait, there's a few good ones. Jurassic Widow, Whalem03, Scarlet's I'm as good as a man video, fantastic. Honestly, I just like the dude in this. He looks like a decent actor. I'm not sure which one are you talking about. Mahershala Ali. Waiting for the new Lucy 2. It felt like they were trying to go for Godzilla -1 here based on this trailer. To me, maybe Jaws, which influenced that scene in that movie.
I mean, I just saw set pieces from numerous other movies and the books thrown in there. You know, we got the aviary stuff, Trip Down the River. Those are both from the first book. You know, honestly, I haven't cared for any of these. We watched the first Jurassic World, and it was fine. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it either. The second one, my wife is not the most critical when it comes to films.
Okay.
In the middle of the movie, she said, "This movie's kind of dumb."
Are you talking about Jurassic World 2?
Jurassic World 2. Yeah.
It was you know, I'll tell you what. The one that was called Jurassic World, I thought was okay. The one that was the second one, I don't know if it's the Lost World or I don't even know now what's the second one called? Doesn't even matter. Nobody remembers, and it doesn't matter. That second one that you mean, like the second Jurassic World, it does start off really dumb, and I think that initially I watched it and stopped in the middle. Somebody convinced me to watch all the way through. By the end of it, there were some things I didn't hate about it, but overall, it's not a very good movie. And the third one, I don't even know if I ever finished it. It just I started watching it. I think I got through to the middle or something, and I wasn't very impressed with it.
Yeah, the second one was Fallen Kingdom. That was the second
Fallen
one.
Kingdom.
And we were watching that one together, and and my wife was like, "This movie's kind of dumb." I was like, "Yeah, it is. It's awful.
Listen,
it's not good at all." And then in the end, like you find out, oh, the little girl, well, she's also a clone. So she feels she's connected to the dinosaurs, so she just lets them go. So what? Little girl, you're a mass murderer now. You let all of those animals out. They're going to kill thousands, millions, and that's all on you. Thanks for that. Appreciate it.
That was very stupid. Yeah. There was something that anti-derivative Jill was asking. I kind of lost it. She said something that it was a good comment. I don't know how I lost it. Oh, she was saying before that the bot probably wrote the script, which is why it talks in circles. Yeah, it's really annoying. I don't like those bot videos, and yeah. When it comes to these things, you said your wife said it was dumb. For me, the fact that there's every movie they come back and they're like, oh, like the dinosaurs are here. Let's try to do this. Let's try to do that. Maybe we should put them here in this park again. Let's try now. This time
Yeah.
it'll work out. Let's go to this island. This time it's going to be great. And it's like, haven't you learned that these dinosaur things are bad news? How many movies do I need until they come to the conclusion that having a bunch of dinosaurs hanging around is not good?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, and like, oh, and then repeatedly, it's like this, like every time they keep coming back to, oh, let's try to weaponize the dinosaurs.
right.
And it's just it was the dumbest idea to start with. Yeah, let's try to weaponize the dinosaurs. That would be like, hey, I got this idea. I'm gonna take a lion and I'm gonna strap missiles to him, and we're gonna send him into a battle, and send him into a war zone. Like, no, it's not gonna work. It's a wild animal. It's stupid. You're gonna waste enormous amounts of time and effort to train this animal, and then it's gonna step into the war zone, and then 2 bullets and it's down, and you've lost this. It's just so dumb.
Absolutely. So yeah, they never learn their lesson. It's the same crap over again. Specifically, this movie, you know, it may not be the worst. It could surprise us and not be the worst Jurassic World movie. But at the same time, it's not like I watched this trailer and I'm so itching to see more Jurassic World. Sometimes I feel like this franchise needs to rest for a really long time, and I feel like after the last one, in theory, that's what they should have done. But they made so much money that they'll continue to make them as long as people want to watch them, no matter how bad they are. So that's
Yep.
the position we're in now.
People love their dinosaurs.
They sure do, Professor.
Like watching
In any case,
watching them big lizards.
So in any case, I guess we've gone over a lot of stuff. I did say I would sing. What did I end up singing at the end? Did I actually deliver on the? I had like a funding goal where I said I would sing.
Oh, what? Yeah, what did you decide to sing?
I don't know. Did I sing even? I thought I sang something,
You
but I'm
sang a
not
little
sure.
something, yeah.
Okay, let me see for a second. We're So I'll try to sing this thing, but I don't know. Does it work that we? I've never tried this before. Does karaoke work here?
I
It
mean,
doesn't.
I suppose it's worth a try.
Tried my best. It's not even like I don't know. Was it even with the rhythm?
Yeah, that's fine.
Somewhat passable for
Yeah.
after 3 hours of talking.
Yep.
I did the best I could.
One day he'll get me on here and I'll sing some Johnny Cash, but it's not going to be today.
You could if you wanted to. Are you good at singing Johnny Cash?
No, I'm not good at singing at all. But
I'm actually decent at singing Johnny Cash, honestly. Did you know that?
Oh, I have to catch you on a stream sometime. Sing some more Johnny Cash for me.
Maybe another time we'll do that. We'll leave people wanting more. And yeah, no, I mean the thing is that usually when I sing also I have this additional thing that has like this echo effect on my voice This was like the most raw form of me just singing into the mic after talking for 3 hours. So it sounded probably very poor, but I did the best I could.
Yeah, there was a little bit of ducking and stuff in there. That you might have some noise canceling or something turned on.
I see.
Things, but
I mean, like
it
I
was
said,
fine.
I have a whole other system for singing together with a thing. It was like it was a weird. We need Professor Cash. That is exactly what we need. But let's. Was the ducking my voice or the music, or both?
It was the your voice was cutting out more than the music. That's why I'm thinking there was probably some echo cancellation, noise cancellation, something like that was going on.
Was there any
On
word
your
that I
end.
sang that anybody understood, or was it
Oh
all
no, you
weird?
can hear most of it. It was just occasionally it was ducking out.
Well, I did the best I could. For a
Yeah,
late
it was
night
fine.
thing, hopefully it was passable for 2 seconds, and I fulfilled my promise. But in any case, yeah, reverb. It has like reverb. Usually, I have like this separate thing that does reverb. Anyhow, let's say goodbye to people. Do you know how we find them? I got kicked out a few times. I don't know if
Hold
your
on.
thing managed to capture some of these names. And I want to thank everybody for hanging out with us. This was a really lovely audience that we had both on YouTube and on Rumble. Rumble is a great platform for freedom of speech. If you're not already subscribed, if you're not signed up, you should sign up for Rumble. It's free. And also follow us. And if you're on YouTube and you enjoyed the stream and you haven't yet subscribed to this channel, you should definitely do it now. When it comes to names, we had Bigot on social media, Bingo Hazmat, Folsom Lockdown, Elizabeth Quince, Dude Bro Seth 420, One Dirty Bird, who sent a Rumble rant from what I can recall. Cassis Rumble 29, the real Arthur Blake, Kivo 1961 also I believe sent a Rumble rant. Sharp 8 and Hypnocrab. Great seeing you all here. And
Then, yeah, we got some also friends joining us over on YouTube. We had Ace Hanlon, Anti-Derivative Jill, Anthem 21X, Mod Adam Gray. I have no dick. One of your
I
favorite.
have Nurdick was here. I didn't even
Nurdick,
notice
yep.
him.
Barbara Lawrence, hey there, Babs.
Hey, Babs.
Caleb Levine, DJ Play Nice, E. Clay Thomason, Irwin's New Potato, FKHC 2005, Granola Grin, James Caserta, Jeanette, or is that Jeanette? Jonathan Conroy, Kelly Hans, Lasher, Marla Sharondoff, Midnight's Edge After Dark. Hey there, Tom. Marrockstro, Nick Steele, Phantom Outsider, Rob Altus, Sean Green, Smilex, The Dead Man, the real Sean Crummell, and it was nice to have him join us this evening as well. Tim Hayes, Vex Electronica, Void King, Whalem 03, Yitus, and Zune RJ5.
I didn't even notice that Vex Electronica was here.
Yeah, she only popped in for a few minutes.
Oh.
I'm sure we were lulling her off to sleep.
She heard our voices and fell asleep immediately. Sharp 8 has a flag. It's a nice flag. It's a beautiful flag. In any case, have a good night, everybody. It was a pleasure hanging out with you all. This is the Night Owl. We'll see you again this Thursday. It's every Tuesday and Thursday, but we'll see you on Thursday at 11:45 p.m. Eastern. And we'll hang out then to, do other crazy stuff in the middle of the night. Thank you again to Professor R2 for being here, the official co-host of this stream. And for those who are not familiar, I'm sure if you got this far, you must be familiar, but I'm Price of Reason. And thank you all for hanging out with us. And we will see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.